gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in. To get play on, don't be scared, destroy you when I'm down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, cut the fix up. With some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't be scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm frozen, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Really quick.
Yo.
So you're gonna do that rewind?
Yeah. Oh, that's a. Yeah, man, we are probably the least biased podcast going in Australia. At least we talk about everything and anything. But between me and Tarzan, we are literally neighbors who decided one day let's start talking about games online, because we spend way too much time talking about them in text messages and phone calls. So we thought, why not just put it out to the public? Because to me it sounds interesting, and to him it probably did sound interesting. So yeah, we're just shooting it together and trying to create some content online and just put our 2 cents in, I'd say.
So
You know-
Umbra, Keasante says he can't hear you. Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
hear. They can hear all of us except for you.
That's okay. Just leave it like that.
Would you
It'd be
believe?
fine.
Ooh.
Would you believe that the OBS actually turned both sets off to default? Thank you, Kay, for
Right.
that. For that. So you all heard.
One of the most
OBS,
annoying
yes.
things to use.
So you all heard missed my entire diatribe here.
Yes.
Ah,
It was really good. No,
It-
it was really, really good.
it was
Don't do
decent.
again.
it was
Yeah, it was
decent,
really
right?
good. Yeah.
Okay,
Don't do
listen.
it again.
Okay, I'll start over really quick, but they don't have to talk over again. These gentlemen here want to have a round table tonight. You'll see such illustrious guests as Ham Solo, Hargeet Chani, Risk It for the Biscuit, MJ Plays, who just is up and starting doing his content creating career. And we'll have Colt, I believe, jumping in later as well when he gets the chance.
Ooh.
So we have a round table here going for Hellblade 2 in celebration of this game release to get a full consensus, if you will, of what we feel about the game. Hargeet is not quite finished, so we won't be having too much of a spoilerific talk, but there might be a few things you guys may consider spoilerific. To me, I don't think the game really lends itself into, oh, that was a spoiler, largely because it's just centered around Senua, but that's my own thinking. But Inked, you introduced yourself. Tarzan's, I'm sorry about that. You guys had me on the PNX podcast about a month ago now, and we had a really good discussion on there, and Inked set it up properly of how you guys got started. For you, like, how has it been for you, Tarzan's, doing this journey between you and Inked?
In the very
Fuck
start,
off,
it was a
Risk
bit
It. We blocked
it was
on
a
Twitter.
bit nerve wracking because I was never I was never into the whole audience speaking. But then afterwards, I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a shot and see how it goes. And then that's how initially PNX started when Inked looked over his window and he saw me gaming from my TV, and then he was like, "Oh, this guy plays games." And then since then we've been talking about games, texting each other, and then we're like, one day, you know what? We're gonna see how this goes, and then do a podcast, and boom, bada bing, bada boom. And then
Bada
PNX
bing,
started.
bada boom. Nice. All right, man. Well, that's good. It's good to know that you guys are friends first, and then you came into this to do this. That's really dope. I think that's sometimes the best way it can go. Although it could go to, I guess it could go left too. To be fair, yeah, I won't touch on that. But anyway, so listen, again,
Good luck,
too.
man.
Yes, good luck to you guys, and keep doing your thing.
Thank you, guys.
Speaking of again with our guest here, Ham, I guess I'll just go through everybody here. Ham, starting with you, brother. Thank you for joining us. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Move out the way, risk it. Move.
Right. Starting with our good brother Ham here, who runs several different podcasts and has interviews. And I saw one where you have a gentleman cannot pronounce his last name whatsoever. But yeah, tell the good folks about that, where they can find that. And I'm going to put all you guys' information in the links after the show, by the way.
Sure, no doubt. I do all types of interviews with different people all across the world that have to do with gaming. So either you play games or you do podcasting, you're in the games business, you do journalism, whatever. Like, I like to talk to all different people, get their perspective and get their background on where they came from in gaming and whatnot. But it's your boy Ham Solo here. Ham Solo 05 Gaming, but you can check me out on Twitter. I usually do everything on TSWS Gaming over on YouTube, but I'm happy to be here with you this evening. Infinite Umbra. Usually I'm doing my show around this time, so usually I can't be a guest, but I figured I'd hit you up today and let you know, hey, I'm actually available this evening if you want to chit chat. So
Perfect. Perfect. It worked out just fine. And it's crazy because I don't know if you all, like the audience, really knows, but we've had Ham on your podcast with you and Loke. We've had some really interesting social talks on there that I don't think many podcasts would dare venture into.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I like to kind of get out there and be a little extra, be a little weird, just be myself, really. I think that's what it's kind of all about. Everybody, I feel like a lot of different people, and I'm not throwing out any names because there's no disrespect there. I mean, do what you got to do. But like, I feel like it's a little bit more fun to kind of be a little bit extra edgy, like just be who I want to be, because I
Mhm.
don't feel like I'll ever flourish if I try to be somebody else.
There you go. Be yourself. Key to success. Sometimes. Well, like unless yourself is a terrible person. But yeah. No. And Hargeet, our talented brother who is now an established author
Yes.
is the proper word. Author.
His name's Arthur?
He's an author with a character named Arthur in his book. Okay, no. Yes, Hargeet just released, if you all are not keen to this, he released Emergence, which is a sci-fi story set about Earth that happens with, you know what? Who's better than to tell us than the author himself, Hargeet?
Yeah. So I did just write a book and release it last month. So if anybody wants to check it out, shop.chani.us. Basically, it's just an alternate history of Earth, where the 65 million years ago, the meteor came and wiped out the dinosaurs. That didn't happen. Then you can just see what happens after that. So you kind of enjoy that if you want to see what it's about. But yeah, I guess we're here to talk about the good old Hellblade. And,
Yes.
how the media loves Hellblade and some media doesn't quite love Hellblade.
Absolutely. So yeah, with Hargeet's book, he didn't sell it as well as I think he should. Now listen, he said this book is a sci-fi epic in the world where dinosaurs did not go extinct. In the world, 65 million years in the making. Dinosaurs. You see, you gotta put that magic on it. Yeah, embellish.
yeah.
What happens in a world where dinosaurs did not go extinct? Is there twerking? Is there social media?
Is there twerking?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to post the link for the book and everywhere you guys can find it on Amazon, and as well as his site for it after the show as well. So you guys definitely support Hargeet, support our brother. I actually have the book myself. I have not had a chance to really dive deep into it because I've been trying to get through Hellblade and everything else. But I promise to get through it and really have an in-depth discussion with you about it at some point, Hargeet.
Yeah.
Yes, so please support our brother. And moving on to MJ Plays, my brother from another. He has been starting again his
Exactly.
Yes, he has been starting his podcasting / content creating journey here. About how long have you been doing this? About 3 months, 4 months now?
Well, no, I mean I started in November, so like solid half a year.
Okay, so yeah, he's been doing this for 6 months and a half maybe. And he makes, he's getting better and better. I'm noticing your work, and I'm glad and happy to see you continue to shine. So tell the good folks a little bit about yourself.
Well, so when I was younger, I mean, I was like this major Xbox gamer. I had a 360, and then it took several years again before I got back into gaming, and that was when I was given an Xbox One when I was about 12 from my mom at the time, and the game I got was Fallout 4 to go along with the Xbox One. So that is how I got into RPGs. That is how I got into like Fallout in general, and even better, I mean, because just getting that one game helped pushed me to every other game I've ever played, I'd say. And like, because I had Fallout 3 as well as a digital code. I bet a lot of people had that as well in their physical copy of Fallout 4. You got a free copy of Fallout 3 in a code. So that kind of just like laid the groundwork for me being able to do all of this that I do, like either make videos or I just talk about games on Twitter or whatever happens. Like how many games I've played over the last several years. I mean, I think in 2021 I finished over, or 2022 I finished over 100 games, which I thought was disgusting. But I did it. I mean, like I remember I finished like 8 games in 3 days. Like it was absolutely wild, and I was like, because it was prime pandemic.
Was this during like all of these games were they off Game Pass or what?
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Game Pass helped push that. I mean, I remember a few: Psychonauts 2, Hades.
Loved Hades.
Game, I forgot you played like some lumberjack. I completely lumberjack or something. I don't remember. I hate that.
You played a lot
because it was really fun.
Well, it's a blur. You played 100+ games. So yeah.
In 1 year, yeah, no, that was like I was just running through them, and I mean, like again, like going on to like Game Pass as well. I mean, like it's changed the way I ever play games in general, because I mean, I would not have been able to play 90% of those games that year if I didn't have the service. And then going into like, okay, you know what? Last year, I was like, oh, okay, I have Xbox, I got a PlayStation, I have a new laptop that is pretty good, being able to use editing software. Why don't I make videos?
There you go.
Like this is genius now. And now I have an actual desktop, and it's made my life so much easier when it comes to editing videos, because I didn't think Adobe Premiere Pro would run much better on my desktop than my laptop, but it does. And I'm very excited that it actually like makes my ability to make videos quicker. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Well, that's dope, brother. I'm proud of you and happy to see you continue doing it. Keep doing your thing. I'm sure you'll be surpassing me when it comes to the content creation part of that. I'm going to try to dip into that sometime in the future, and maybe I'll have to, lean on you for your expertise.
Unbearably close to 1,000 subs. Like, not to put myself like, oh, I go. But,
No,
like,
you're good. Talk your stuff.
I know, but like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm just saying, this has been pissing me off. I've been sitting like, there was 1 week where I went like up and down a subscriber, like it didn't move, and I was getting so mad. And it was actually really bad because it was affecting my mental health a little bit.
Don't let it get to that point. Yeah, don't let it get to that point. It affects your mental health. But listen, I don't want to cut you off on that, but we'll get back to that more. I'm going to put your info into the links, of course, and definitely if you guys would care to give our brother a chance and hear him out and check his videos out, you please go subscribe to him once I post it. Risk it for the biscuit, my Australian brother, who I've been podcasting with for the better part of 3 years now on the Infinite Podcast. My Australian brother, another Australian brother from another. Tell the good folks about yourself, man, and thank you for joining us. What was that?
Hey.
What the hell? What the hell was that? Was that supposed to be your audience clapping, or what was that?
I think it was. That wasn't me though. I don't know who that was. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I just want to talk a bit about Hellblade today because I think there's some interesting takes out there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fully Xbox tax and all that sort of stuff, but I know you want to jump into that. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. It's gonna be a great show. It's going to be a great conversation. There's a lot to talk about. This game we've been waiting for the better part of 4 or 5 years.
5 years.
So it's finally here.
Finally here.
Crazy,
now,
man.
And this is good because I'm glad I'm hearing some dissension from you on here on possible hive mindedness in the community. So I do want to get your takes as far as what you feel is not necessarily Xbox tax, but them being fair in the media, maybe in your views as well. And again, this is a round table, so everybody is free to give your thoughts and questions and throw out a question for all of us to ask. Audience, I also ask you guys to do the same. So let's start it up, man. Hellblade 2, it landed a few days ago. It's not the longest game. The meta, I believe, let me check to make sure. Yes, Metacritic is at 81. OpenCritic is at 82. Not bad. Not bad score-wise. It's a little under what I assumed it would be at 86. I assumed at 86, and I thought the supposed tax would kind of put it to 86. But we landed at 82, and we had some interesting, I guess, takes, if you will. Now, we've seen a few people who had it in 90 in the first game and jumped like 50 points down to 40 something and such, and some that gave it a 45 and some gave it, a 60, et cetera, et cetera. I would ask you guys, and you guys can jump in as you need be. Do you agree or disagree with the overall of it being 81, 82?
I'll quickly jump in because I've only got a little bit of time because I got to head off to do a medical because I'm dying. I just want to drop that.
Oh,
no, I'm not dying.
That's not good.
I'm gonna head off to do a medical for work. So but looking up the scores for Hellblade 1, it landed pretty much exactly the same. Hit an 81 and 7.8 as a user score. Yeah. So it's generally landed the same. And I think that's fair. And anyone, obviously, round table jump in. But what I was saying before we're in the green room. Yes, there is an Xbox tax, and I think that's definitely happening in some cases. And I think in other cases, and there's some obvious ones, like the GameSpot review where she's gone from a 9 and she loved everything about it and it was great, and then all of a sudden she's played this one. And
excuse me 1 second, Rich. Your mic movement is making the sounds.
Oh, sorry.
But she's gone from a 9 to a 4, right? Like you were saying, that seems like a tax to me. But I think there's a lot of people that had expectations placed on this game that were just unrealistic. Because when you listen to what they were saying pre-launch, right? They were never saying like, we've really worked on the mechanics, we've expanded the world, you know, we've made it more action-based. They were not saying that. So what I expected. I expected exactly what they did. Like, they've reshushed up the combat a little bit. It looks absolutely fucking amazing, excuse the language. And you know, it's very much the predecessor or the follow-on from the previous game. Like, it's exactly what I expected. So the starkness in scores, like, I just think that that's poor reviewing. Like, if you're reviewing based on your expectations of what you wanted this game to be, but you didn't get it, so you're throwing a hissy fit and you're giving it a 4, that's just bad reviewing. And then if you're reviewing it from a place of like, well, it's Xbox now and they ruined it, again, bad reviewing. So I really don't think, if you're giving the first one a 9 and you're giving this one a 4, I think that says more about you as a reviewer than it does about the game. Unfortunately, those games go into Metacritic, which sucks. But hey, I think 80, I would say an 87 is, I haven't finished it either, but I'm sitting at an 87.
Okay, so you're close to where I was. And Dusty, what's up, my brother? So Dusty, just so you know, since it's a round table, if you guys are not, I'll just say this for audio reasons. If you guys aren't talking, just make sure to mute yourself. That way there's no feedback and sounds from the background.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I just turned everything on.
You're good, brother. But Dusty here, I'll add your stuff into the links as well. Dusty has been on the show a few times. Dusty also runs a podcast, and he also does like different content creating on his own as well. Dusty, I'll get to you in a second to kind of give you bars. But Risk, I actually agree with a lot of what you said there, and I would guess now, Harkeet, I watched you guys on Boom's Xbox Prime Time the other day, and you guys were talking about it. What's your take on that? Because I do get what you're saying, Risk, and I agree with that largely. I don't know if I came to an 87, but you're not far from me, because I had my score, as just to throw it out there, and I said it online, was an 8.5. So I had an 85. So you're not far from where I'm at. Like, you're right there. I just didn't think it was a 9, but yeah.
They just did what I expected them to do. Like, and they did it really, they've done it really well. And the only thing that I'm sort of finding at the moment that I honestly have a problem with is the Furies aren't as good. Like, the sound's better, but the Fury conversation, the internal conversation that she's having around Psychosis isn't as good. And they are using it a little bit as a UI, you know, like an audio UI to tell you what to do.
Yep.
But I fucking hate that.
I
I
noticed that too.
hate that stuff. But yeah, I think that's the only reason I'm not hitting a 9 is because the Furies. Like, and it's not a perfect game, but it does exactly what I expected it to do, and what I think is fair and reasonable to have expected it to do. And that's not, you know me, if I'm not, this is not me being an expert. If I didn't like the game, you would know all about it.
True. For you, Hargeek, because I heard you speak on it, and you kind of had a thought that the Xbox tax. Now you're on an ideological different side of that. You believe there is an Xbox tax, right?
Yeah. Look, I expected the score to be exactly where it is, right? I've been predicting it's going to be right here, and the reason is simply the first game was at where it was, and then I expected it to be amped up, and I think it was going to be if there wasn't any, like, as Brisket was saying, like, review bias of any sort, right? Just for some reason they just are doing a bad review. It would probably land in that high 80s range, right?
Right.
But I figured there would be a tax. There's going to be a tax, and so and by the way, I don't think it's done. I don't think they sent codes to everybody, right? So I think you're gonna see more reviews come in, and these are gonna be the ones where it's like, well, Xbox has no game, so therefore this has to be a 4. Right, and that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Metro.
You're gonna see those kind of stupid things. They're still gonna come in, right?
I
But
saw the
equivalently,
Metro
you'll see
reviews.
other ones. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, just like he said, Metro, and I'm like, yeah, I saw this game's Metro review as well. I'm like, every time these guys, like, why do they still have a platform?
I don't
take
get
them
it.
off Metacritic.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But either way, so like those are gonna stream in, right? But they're also gonna be equivalents on the other side that are gonna be like, this was great, right? So, like, the problem you have with any game coming out with Xbox is expectations. For some stupid reason, they expect them to be something ridiculous, and it's like, well, it's just Ninja Theory. It's what they made before. That nothing has really changed. It's what I expected. I've been playing it. I think I'm close to the end, and I like this one better than the first one in that I don't at times I felt like the first one kind of just had me wandering. I don't know. It just felt different. I don't know. There was something about it where I was like, meh. And this one just it seems like the action's constant. I just kind of keep flowing. And I'm like, well, I don't have this like lull moment.
The pacing feels a bit better, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I said the same.
The timing is good. It feels like it's just continuously going.
Yeah.
Which I like. So far it's pretty good. I haven't found an area where I'm frustrated or anything. It just like keeps going. It's pretty good.
What would your provisional score be?
So since I haven't finished it, I'm gonna I'll provisional score. I'm between an 8.5 to a 9, depending on how the ending is. Right.
Okay.
So if the ending gets annoying, I'll err towards the 8.5, if not lower, depending on how bad it is. Right. If it keeps going the way it's going and it has a great ending, I'll trend towards the 9. Right. So I'm kind of like with Risk It. 8.7 sounds good to me. But I'll say it's in that range right now until I have it finished.
That's what's up.
So
well, Ham, since you were jumping in on it, I'll go ahead, Argy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as far as that media bias thing, like this is just something I keep expecting. However, I think it's gonna start changing as the number of games comes out, and the other side has nothing, and the amount of marketing that's gonna happen with Xbox, they're gonna have to look at it and say, okay, I can't keep doing that. It's just the way it is, right? So, but we're not there yet. Right, you can see it. You can see the games coming, right?
Right.
But when we get like to 2 to 3 years from now, and you have like 30 games from Xbox, and you have like 5 from PlayStation, eventually you're gonna have to just kind of contend with the fact that you need to pay attention to Xbox.
Yeah.
You can't just
write them off.
Them for everything.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because look, the next game is going to be like, let's say it's Avowed, right? Avowed is not like a stellar looking, game like Hellblade is.
Right.
It's going to be good from a dialogue perspective, from a story perspective. Are they going to recognize that? I don't know. Is it going to have that same like, well, why didn't Xbox spend more money on this and make it look like Hellblade? It's just always something. There's always a goalpost that has to be moved. Which is just frustrating, but I anticipate it. That's why I know where the score is going to be.
It is. So. Yeah, that's a fair point. I heard you guys talk about that. I thought that was a great point. And I don't know if anybody else had seen it, but Snowbike Mike had talked about it on Kind of Funny, and he made great points. I was surprised by how like he seemed angry, like how he said what he had to say.
Live, it was fantastic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What did you now, Ham? What's your thinking on that? And Ink, I'm going to go to you right after that, and Tarzan's, and then to MJ and to Dusty after that. And Risk It, I do know you have limited time, so I do want to make sure to try to get everybody in on this really quick and then keep flowing. But what was your thinking on it, Ham, and as far as the tax and whatever else you want to touch on as far as that? Pause.
Oh man, yeah, no Diddy, right? but anyways, I thought like as of right now, I think the game is pretty dope. It kind of started out slow with me, but the first one did the same thing, right? The boat scene at the very beginning, that sludge, that sludge, watching the credits kind of go, and then about 25, 30 minutes walking up until you get to your, first puzzle and then battle and all that stuff in the first one. This one, similar slow start and everything. I haven't beat the game, very much like Hargeet, and so I can only give you my what'd you call it, like a provision?
Yeah, provisional.
Yeah, provisional. As of it started out as an 8 for me, but now as the story has progressed, I'm at an 8.5.
Okay, so you where I'm at then. Okay.
And it's like trending up. Like I stopped playing right before I got on this podcast with you guys, and it was getting pretty hot.
Nice.
But as for like the ratings and everything that's kind of going on around it, I mean, I had high expectations just because I like to shoot for the stars. So I said 90, which is crazy, sure, but I said it. I don't care.
That's what you were saying pre-release. You were saying 90.
Yes, I was saying 90 pre-release. I look at these reviews, and it just is a head scratcher to me because I see a lot of people say how much they enjoyed the first one, and it's just like a lot of the same.
Yeah.
And it really kind of confuses me that people are so like dumbfounded. Like you see a lot of the reviews and they were championing the fact that, oh, mental health, this is a big deal. I wish more games would talk about this kind of stuff. And then you get the second iteration of it and nobody talks about the mental health at all. It's like that whole like to me, it's almost like people felt bad and gave it a review good the first time, and then now the second one comes out and it's under like the Xbox name and stuff like that. They're like, I'm gonna give it the what I really thought about it.
Right.
Like I'm gonna tell you how I really feel and how the fight scenes really felt and everything.
All that artsy nonsense is out the window now, huh?
Yeah, it just didn't matter. And then as for the people that are like Xbox, fans that had problems with it, I seem to tend to see the same thing, and it happens every single launch for an Xbox game. And it's just that you have these anticipations that this is going to be the second coming of Jesus. And
Yeah.
like when the Lord and Savior doesn't come down the stairs and welcome you on into heaven, you're lost and confused.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the other thing I think as well is playing into what people's expectations for this particular game. There's also an expectation, and I will say, guys in the chat are going to hate me and people disagree, but Xbox hasn't made that one fucking stop swearing, that one huge
Oh, you're
game
past 10
like
minutes.
that.
You're good.
That one big game, that one, where we know it's the one, it's the undeniable one. It's like you said, like Jesus come down from the heavens game and everyone's like, hallelujah. Like they haven't made that God of War. They haven't yet. It hasn't happened this gen. And so every single game has that expectation. Like you're 100% right. That is bang on. That feeds into it too.
But they'll never make it because there's always expectations that are bullshit, right?
Mhm.
Not every game is going to be God of War. Let's just be honest. Not every game is Zelda. Let's just not. Does that mean every game sucks?
That's a good point.
What really gets under my skin is the same folks that are always telling me how you need to support the devs and you need to like let the artists do their vision and let them cook, as they always be saying. Like as soon as they get done cooking, they're like, right? Well, it's weird. It's just like as soon as they get done cooking, they're like, I told you to cook me whatever you wanted to cook, but I don't want to play what I want to play. What I want,
not good enough.
What I wanted out of this. Like I seen like I heard a lot of people saying I expected this to be some sort of like God of War or something like that, and it's just like, so you expected a team of 80 people to make a God of War like game off and just completely just dismiss what they previously made as if like they're gonna make this crazy like how many studios do you know made one game one way and then the next iteration of the game was absolutely different mechanics, absolutely different fighting styles, absolutely different ways of showing off like cutscenes and stuff like that. Like to
Grand
me,
Theft
this
Auto.
was.
What is Grand Theft Auto? Oh, sorry, my bad.
I disagree. Grand Theft Auto has been pretty much similar since 3.
No, Grand Theft Auto was a top-down. The original Grand Theft Auto was like a top-down.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying Grand Theft Auto from 2 in London to 3.
Yeah, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding around. Like you're absolutely right.
Sure, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's a fair comparison to bring up, right? But I feel like that's just a little bit different.
But the tech changed. Yeah, I mean, I was kidding, but like from Grand Theft Auto 1, the original one, to like the next when they started going 3D, the tech had completely changed. There was access to, and it wasn't like an incremental leap like we see now with diminishing returns. It was a massive leap, and they could just do so much more. So that's why a lot of games in that era changed. So it was an unfair comparison. I was just taking the piss. But I
would also add too that like the evolution of it, right? Like you could say that too, but it's like the evolution of that the generations changed too. It was a different generation when we finally got 3. Like the design of it evolved into that. But you don't typically have it where somebody's like, the first game is this, the second game is this way different thing. So I know you were joking though, but yeah, fair point. But go ahead, Richard.
I was kidding. But look, I mean, with Hagi keeps saying this like, but what do you want? And it's not, but I'm not saying it's a bad game. Like, but they are absolutely capable. Like, Xbox is 110% absolutely capable. They have the studios, they have the resources, they have everything they need. It's not unreasonable to expect, or not even to hope for, to expect them to bring out a game that is that God of War level from one of their studios at some point. And until they do
God
that,
of War level?
That's
That's my problem.
I mean, have you
What is
played
a
God of War?
level?
Have you played God of War?
I've played God of War 2018. I haven't played Ragnarok yet because it hasn't come out on PC.
So you know the God of War level.
I don't think that's a great game. That's my problem. To me, that's a simple adventure game, and it doesn't really do that much to me. It's good. It's a little hub game that, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I would argue you would be in the minority.
Not to me.
But you would be in the minority.
I have a heck of a lot more in Halo, and I actually have far more emotional context with Halo than I did with God of War.
I would also add. So what was the question about with God of War though? Because the first one I thought 2018 was good. Great.
I mean,
but the second one,
God of War was a reference.
Ragnarok. Okay,
just a reference point.
I see.
Yeah,
because Ragnarok wasn't that.
I just don't like
Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't like the idea of.
This.
I'm kind of leaning towards where Hargeet is. I don't like the idea of saying, "Hey, we need to make this type of game," because most games that blow up, they blow up from the originality of the game, like a Helldivers, like. Come on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's using it as a reference point. Doesn't mean that
how many people copied?
Type of game.
How many people are going to copy Helldivers and fail? Probably a bunch of people. How many people copied Fortnite and are still trying to this day? And Fortnite was an accident. Yep. Nobody can copy an accident.
Lightning in a bottle, as they say, right? But so I want to come back to you guys on this whole thought, and thank you all for the dialogue. That was great. Inked El Chapo, my brother. Now, for you, I guess I do want to get your general thoughts and your score, but I would also ask you on the thought of, because I did see you speaking to somebody on Twitter. Who was that? I think it was Fonz. It was Fonz Gaming. Yeah, absolutely it was. And Fonz had a different view on the game because he's not really up on it. He's kind of down on it as far as his views on it. I don't think he's thinking it's terrible or anything, but I don't think he was impressed overall outside of the visuals. For you, what was your thoughts jumping into this game? And I know you're playing it on PC. I played on, just to give clarity, I played on PC as well, but I'm also going to play through it on the Xbox Series X. But I'm hearing great things across the board. So what was your thoughts on it when you came to it? And what are your thoughts as far as the Xbox tax or the supposed Xbox tax?
Before I hit the Xbox tax, I've tried the game on my PC. I've also tried it on the Series X via remote play and xCloud. Now, the fact that this game works across the board so well should be commended. Look, we're going to sit here and talk about what they're doing wrong or how people are looking at the game. I'm actually I'm going to play devil's advocate just for 1 second and say, look, it's been 6 years since the last one came out. And I understand what people like Fonz are trying to say, but I'm also trying to be more of a neutralist on this. And look, it's been 6 years. I can understand people having expectations and wanting more from the game because initially when they first showed the game, man, the first thing I went to was that you kind of thought, it looks kind of open world. It's got the combat's going to be a little bit, more intense and stuff. So I can understand from that perspective that people might have kept those expectations from, early on. But as they've shown the game over the years, nothing changed. So they kept showing the game for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And people were also questioning, is this gameplay or is this cutscene? So
CGI, right?
Is it CGI? So in this whole time, I'm thinking, okay, it's another, it's basically what they did in the first game. but 100 times prettier and 100 times more immersive. And like I was saying to the guys in the pre-show, like you can't expect basketball from FIFA. So that's, I think, where the review scores are getting a bit skewed, because people might have been, and it might not have to really do with the Xbox tax kind of thing. But look, you gotta. There's a lot more nuance to this conversation. We can't sit here and say it is or it isn't. So, like I said, I'm trying to be more of a neutral person, because like I was disagreeing with ones. I'm like, dude, like you can't. What your expectations are in a game, and I don't think maybe he agreed with me, but that's fine. But like, you shouldn't be going into this expecting more than what it is. And like if you just sit down and enjoy the experience for what it is. And I want to commend, I want to commend Ninja Theory for there's no bugs. The gameplay doesn't have any crashes or weird MTX like that kind of would like turn you off from the game in the first place. Where I stand on the game and where it falls short, but again, my expectations were there, thinking, all right, you know, they're going to continue to do it. Was the puzzles. Now the puzzles bring it down for me, because I played and I wanted to ask the rest of the guys that are on this roundtable.
Oh yeah, feel free.
Where they sit, like how they play the game. I play the game late at night, sitting, you know, either in bed on my ROG Ally or in front of my, you know, 42-inch screen TV.
Did you say you played it on the ROG?
Yeah, not like remote play.
Okay. I was about ready to rub this into MJ Dark's face. I was like, oh, because him and my brother John Wolf, they have this NHO thing going. I call them the NHOs, but they, you know, this new revolution they're trying to start up with the handhelds that excludes the ROG Ally, because they're trying to treat it like this redheaded stepchild. So I wanted to see, and he challenged me to put it on the ROG to test it natively. I might do it just to see. But yeah, I
heard it runs well on medium.
Nice.
But I've played the game on my 4090, 60 frames, so 4K 60, and I'm pretty certain the combat is even better on that side of things, just because of the responsiveness. There's the frame gen stuff that you can turn on. I've got it all turned on. It's DLSS, DLAA. To me, it's making a difference, because like it's a difference between that and xCloud, where it was like delayed. So I don't know if people were having issues with the combat, but that was the part of the game that surprised me. And I'll wrap it up really quickly.
Oh, before you go, let me ask you something. And this is for all of you guys too. What difficulty did you play it on?
I think it's the
dynamic.
Dynamic. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to know. Okay, I'll come back to that in a minute. But go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to know as well, because like, does it change the combat? Does it give you?
It does.
Time to...
It makes it much more intense, in my opinion.
You wanted to know about the puzzles, right?
Yeah, I just want to know like how people were playing the game, because I'm playing it at night and I'm a bit tired, so the puzzles are a little bit annoying to me. It's not for me. Like anytime there's a puzzle in any game, I'm Googling how to do it straight away, except in this. I don't know where to look. Where do I start looking?
You say you wasted no time, huh? Man, hit up Game Facts immediately.
I was like mirror tree section. Like, where do I look for this? So I'm struggling a little bit with the puzzles, but that's just because I'm tired and not playing it when I'm fresh-minded. So, but yeah, just to wrap it up, like I think where I sit for the game is about an 87 as well. Originally, I thought it was going to get a 90, so it's worked out probably roughly where I thought it was going to sit. Going up into those high 90s, I don't know like what game for me even gets up there unless I'm personally in love with it, like a GTA or Starfield. But
it's got to be one of those close to those game of the generation types for you, possibly, right?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But I think I want to commend Ninja Theory for producing something that immerses me. It takes me out of the world that I'm in, and that dude in the game that's got like that deep, like Kratos voice, man.
You should not have come here, child.
Honestly, dude, like that was. I'm like, this is so fucking cool.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the disembodied voice of her father. Am I right?
Yeah, well, I figured that
It
out
is
last
supposed
night.
to be.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, because you hear him in the first one, I believe, too, at point. But it's been a while since I played the first one. But speaking of that, so I guess what was your question to everybody though, Ink? Exactly.
Oh, how long they're playing the game? Are they playing it in long stints or short stints? Because I think that affects people's view on the
Perception
game
and
as well. 'Cause
such.
To bring it back to the original point about the Xbox tax and stuff, I just believe that if you're playing it in short stints, it's fucking brilliant. It's top tier. But if you're trying to
Yeah.
probably play it in longer runs, it might not be as enjoyable, I'd say.
Okay.
I've been playing it where I end up like, what time is it? Oh shit! I gotta so no, I keep playing. It's because of the pacing. It just kind of keeps you going, and then I just like,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what time is it? Oh crap! I gotta shut this off and go to sleep.
I would agree with that. Go. Well, you want to say
I-
something else, Hergy?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, if you want to say something on that, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like as far as like the puzzles, it's an interesting issue. Like, well, so as far as playing it, by the way, I just turn off my lights and I have like night shades that like block out the sun, so I
Same.
have it totally dark, headset on, and play it.
How was the audio for you, by the way, with it? Because they kind of suggest that you should use headphones. I'm not sure if you guys in the audience have done that as well.
I 100% recommend it. I have a full surround Atmos system in my room.
Nice.
But it's nowhere near as good with you need to have the headphones on.
Okay, I'm going to try that for the
It's really
Xbox version.
designed to have headphones.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend headphones. But yeah, I like turn off all the lights so it looks great. In HDR, it looks very, very nice. And yeah, the puzzles thing, like Paris Lily, he mentioned that the puzzle was too easy. And I tend to agree. I find the puzzles rather simplistic. And I think that's why I find it just flows. Because the puzzles for me, it takes me like 2 minutes and like I'm done and let's move on. And now I'm exploring again and looking for the next collectible. And then here comes a fight, right? And so for me, it keeps flowing. So it's really just dependent on the person, I think. Like, and this is just one of those tough choices, right? Is a puzzle going to be too challenging for somebody, or is it going to be easy? But so far, I've found them very easy. I had a little bit more of a harder time. I still figured them out with the first one because I think they were a bit more. I don't know. They were more random to me.
They annoyed. I'm going to tell you, the first game annoyed the hell out of me with these puzzles. Because it killed it killed every bit of momentum the game had going. Oh yeah, every time. I'm like, oh yeah, just fought these wildlings or whatever. Next thing you know, all right, let's find a twig that matches with this other twig
Right.
to make a rune.
That drove me insane.
It did. Same.
Just to answer Ink's question, because he is asking like how we go about playing it. I've been playing it on dynamic difficulty, and it is definitely wild. I felt like it started out pretty easy, and then it definitely got a lot harder. There's a fight where the fight where the smoke is everywhere, like very early, the early one. Hello?
Is there a fight? Oh yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I was typing something. You said the fight with the smoke. You're talking about? Are you talking about the fire in the background and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Is
the
that the one
initial
that
fight,
keep-
the initial fight where they blow the fire at you and stuff like that.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Beautiful,
Okay.
great scene, by the way. I love that section.
I thought I got disconnected for a minute.
No, that was-
happened.
that-
But-
That was my fault.
But
so good, man. So good.
but that fight right there, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but it was like 8 or 9 minutes straight of just sweaty fighting.
Oh yeah.
It was, yeah.
And like I like recorded the whole thing, and I was noticing like in my recording, because I was playing that part on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And I was noticing like by like minute 6, 7, I started adjusting my hands a little bit because they were getting a little sweaty. Right? I was like, oh man.
I thought you were
getting
going to
kinda
say you were on audio like
Oh man, stop it! No, I mean I ain't doing no heavy breathing.
Okay.
You crazy?
I was like, oh, you were really in it. All right.
I mean, I was in it, but I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't sweating like that.
Okay.
All right. But anyways, yeah, that part I definitely could tell how the difficulty kind of went up compared to some of the fights that I had earlier. But I've been playing it very kind of sporadically. I haven't been like trying to sit down and just crush through the game because I wanted to kind of get little pieces of it. And then I also like right now I have about 8.5, maybe 9 hours in on the game. I've played the beginning part 3 separate times. Once on my PC, once on my Series X, and another time on my Steam Deck. And it worked fine for the most part on all of them. The Steam Deck was a little but once I figured out the settings and everything on there, it ended up being just fine. And it was really surprising because it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, and we all know how difficult that is for a lot of different configurations. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely been taking my time trying to just enjoy what I can out of it, especially knowing how much time it is and knowing how much other games I have to play throughout the rest of this year, and even the backlog that I currently have right now. And the backlog's actually kind of nice because like I get to play like an hour or two of this game, then I go into Fallout or something like that, or and then I do that with another game or something like that. I've been playing a little bit of X Defiant 2, which is
nice. So
it's something.
I'm seeing more people play that, by the way, but I want to ask. See, so I'm gonna go. Tarzan, you back, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
So I'm gonna come to you on this, and I want to get your general thought. But for the table, think on this after he gives his thoughts here, is because you just mentioned these other games that you were talking about. Him and that you have to get to, and I have that mindset, so I'm trying to take myself out of the I have to do this versus I want to do this thing, because once you start doing it, feels like a chore, right? But you're right, because a lot of the times, man, we want to play all these games, but we don't have the time necessarily. So the question to you guys and to the audience in the chat too is, did you feel a way about the game that it could be completed within 5 hours to 8 hours? Because there are time plays on YouTube where people have finished it within 5 hours. So did you guys feel a way about that? I'm going to Tarzan's next, so just want you all to sit with this for a second. But did you all feel that the game was too short, just right, et cetera, and did you expect more when it comes to that? But Tarzan's for you, brother. What was your general takeaway for the game, and how did you feel about it as far as your overall, I guess, score for it, or if you're not finished, provisional?
Yeah, so I initially knew what I was getting into, only because I played the first game, and I fell in love with the first game. So that's I've said it before on the podcast, or the PNX podcast, that's actually my third or fourth most favorite game that I've played on general, so on the Xbox. And in regards to Hellblade 2, it's in the same boat for me actually. I didn't expect much of it. I didn't expect to see anything completely different. Like people say that, or it should have been more, let's say, open world. I didn't expect that because the first game was a narrative-driven story game, and second game would still be the same thing. So I'm not. But for me, I fell in love with the game, and I think I'm still on chapter 3, so I haven't fully completed the game yet. So I'm probably just below halfway at this point.
Okay.
Initially, my thoughts, like my complete rating for the game. So I started off with an 8.5 initially in the very start, and then it started to ramp up. So right now I'm on chapter 3 and sitting at a 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're at a masterpiece. Like, it's funny you say that, and it just coincides with the brother Big Man Mo in the chat. He said it's a masterpiece, his game of the year. Is that what you're feeling right now?
I'm definitely feeling it. I'm definitely a big follower for narrative like the story driven games, and I'm feeling that this could be my game of the year. Not potentially the game of the year for everyone else, but my game of the year. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I hear you on that. I think there are things in this game which stand out where you can say, yes, this is worthy of a contender, and I think it is. Visually, it sets the bar now for games. I've never seen a game. I said this on my tweet. I've never seen a more beautiful game. When I saw it on the OLED, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, wow, this is like, how far have we come that this is what I'm looking at this and I'm actually playing it. It's not like a CGI or something. this is actual gameplay. And I'm just like, even when I turn it on and I go back to it, and I'm thinking, okay. And then I readjust, and again, I see it. It's like, oh, okay, this is ridiculous how great this game looks. But then you go to the audio, like Hargeet was talking about, and I definitely got to check that out. The binaural, is it the binaural audio?
Yep. Binaural, yep.
So I got to check that out on Xbox. I'm going to do that tomorrow possibly and play it on Xbox and try to get through it with the headphones on the entire time. And so I want to get the full experience. But then you go to other things that elevate this game, from the voice acting and the delivery of the lines to the animations to the fighting. I thought, because I heard some people was saying this, Tarzan, I'm going to move to you next, MJ. To you guys.
Well, real quick, I just wanted to say,
yeah,
as a person that's a big fan of classic video games, this feels like FMV 5.0.
Yes.
The natural progression, huh?
Bro, I'm telling you, if you played some FMV games from the Sega CD,
Yes.
the little dating sims
3DO,
and all that, yeah,
the 3DO, the Sega Saturn, yada yada, even like maybe early in PlayStation games, like the original PlayStation, like those games were. The movies were really cool, but what sucked is it was always point and click.
Yeah.
And it's like, finally, I get to be part of the movie, and it's not a point and click.
Yeah, hey, that's a good analogy right there. Actually, I didn't think of it that way.
The, like awards thing for it, Paris mentioned that from a performance perspective, if she doesn't get recognized for her performance, that's just
definitely
rigged.
Melina, definitely she deserves some type of recognition for sure.
I think it's the best performance this year. I don't think anything will top it.
What else
it's gonna be hard to top it. Right?
What else did you all say that we have that we could possibly say would challenge it? I know it's too early to say, but
maybe Indiana Jones.
Maybe
Fable.
Probably.
Well, Fable's not this year.
Yo, relax.
I'm just saying.
Dusty's like, hey, get Fable on out there. But
best performance perspective.
I'm hyped
we
for
still
it
have
too.
some games to come, but unfortunately, COD never gets recognized. But they actually do have quite a bit of good performances in those.
Yeah.
But so they'll probably still never get recognized. But there might be some actual good performances there. But yeah, this is probably one of the bigger contenders. Because PlayStation is gonna be there. I assume Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
Best performance.
But look, I don't know, right? Because there's so many other games that could potentially come out that have maybe Indiana Jones is one of them, right? But we'll find out. But so far, yeah, she's got to be in the contenders for best performance.
So
as far as game of the year, I don't know. It's tough to tell because games at this rating still have been nominated for game of the year.
That's true.
So it's not like it's a 60 here. It's still an 80s game. It's 80s meta is very, very good. So
at least until some of these other upstarts jump in and start trying to lower it, but we'll see. But let me.
What takes it? Oh yeah, we didn't.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Stalker. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Space.
So what takes this to perfection? What open world RPG kind of thing, or how do we get this to 100 or a 10 out of 10?
As far as this game here, you're saying?
Yeah.
See, I'll say this for what I did think, and this is why I agree with the thought that don't force your view onto the game than what they give you. Judge it on the merits of what it is. And because before we got to this game, I thought we'll have an open world aspect. That's what it seemed like when they showed the landscape.
I wasn't expecting any of
that. Now I was foolish. I put too much loftiness on it, but that didn't take away from what I thought when I actually played it. When I played it, it was more of the same, although expanded and I think improved. Because people say the combat wasn't better. I'm like, I disagree. The combat is much better in this one, especially if you put it on hard.
Better for some reason, at least from my memory, because it's been a while since I played the original. But
now the original's not bad.
It feels better to me.
It flows better. But people were saying easy. I don't think easy, but I think though the caveat is you have to put it on hard. That's the caveat for me. Put it on a hard difficulty because it makes the fights much more intense And
Yeah,
like,
I've left it on.
yeah,
Is it dynamic? Is that
dynamic. That's what I had it on at first, and I
I've
was
left
like,
it on, and it's
yeah.
been fine. I've been enjoying it. It's been good.
Apparently, from what I was told from my brother Lucius Augustus, we had that discussion, and he was telling me that by it being dynamic, it plays off how you play. So the better you are, the more difficult it'll start to improve
You'll
on.
make it, yeah.
But I was like, nope, I want it to be challenging all the way through, because when I first played it, the guys were kind of standing there looking at me like, are you going to swing at me? Or no, are you going to swing at me? So I was like, nah, let me switch that up, because I don't want them to just stand around, but
Yeah, they weren't doing that
yeah.
for me. I don't know if that's just because I started attacking and then they started. So they continuously attack me.
they
so-
got at you immediately. Yeah.
so
They were
it's
like,
fine.
oh, he's a try hard. Let's cut him. Like, I get it. but
Swarming in like bees.
you're right.
So as far as your 10 out of 10, in my world, a 10 out of 10 is a game that sets itself apart from everything else. So to me, that's like a Halo Combat Evolved. That's a Mass Effect, right? That's a Ocarina of Time, right? So if you're a 10 out of 10, you're a sort of genre-defining, changing gaming forever type of game, right? So to me, that's a 10 out of 10. I'll
Mhm.
stay in the 9s if it's something that's so entertaining that I can't put it down, right? That and like I spend 100 hours just continuously playing the game or something ridiculous. So Starfield, I gave that a 9.5 because I just couldn't. I kept going. I just kept going. I think I
Mhm.
put 200 plus hours in there, right? So that's like that for me. A 9 or 8.5 in that range.
Mhm.
They hit the target of what they wanted to deliver and went above and beyond. To me, that's a 8.5 to 9. It starts getting more into the you made it. It's good. 8 to whatever, and then if you go to 7s, it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, to
Right,
me,
so
7 is like good. 8 is a great.
it's-
9 is amazing, approaching masterpiece, and 10 is just masterpiece. Now, there's no perfect game, but it's so
Yeah, there
it does
aren't.
everything so well that it's in that in that realm. So, MJ, I wanted to go to you on this and get your thoughts on it. Now, did you finish the game, by the way?
I did finish the game, yeah.
So, what did you play it on? Your PC or through Series X?
I played it. I've my Xbox is gone, but yeah, no, I played it on my PC.
Oh, yeah,
I was
that's
actually
right.
Really surprised.
I forgot
Yeah,
that
I was
you've
really-
moved on. He's evolved to the
Master Race.
right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I still got the PS5 for GTA 6, and that's only what it's there for until I play it, and that's it.
Mhm.
But I played it really surprisingly well, actually. The performance on my PC was like surprisingly. I have a 4070 graphics card. I was actually amazed when I was able to run it on high settings at like 100 frames. Like maxed out settings is 100 frames across the board. I was like stunned every 5 minutes. The second I got into the game, I was like, holy, this game looks amazing. I was blown away the entire time.
Mhm.
It goes with the graphics, the audio design, and the combat. The combat as well, with all the new animations and all, like, it feels weightier, it feels heavier than the first game. And like when they there was one enemy that like throws an axe at you or something. Like sometimes he'll do that move, and like
Yeah.
when I always dodged out of the way of that attack, I felt like such a badass, and I run at him and I just start hitting him with my sword. Like
Yeah.
those were the three things for me that this game
Yeah.
perfected compared to the first one.
The combat for you was much better then, right? Because that's what I
Combat
felt.
was excessively better.
I thought so,
actually
too.
Loved it. Every single part where it was a combat section, I was like, "This is the game I want to play." If this
Mhm.
game was only combat for 8 hours, it'd be a 10 out of 10 for me. The
Yeah.
problems I had with the game,
Yeah.
and in the end, I gave it a 7 out of 10
Mhm.
because there were just so many gripes I had with the game. Like,
Okay.
the narrative didn't pick up for me until like the second half, and I was really disappointed by that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to really enjoy the narrative, like I did the first one. The narrative was like the core for me, but this game didn't pick up until you meet like ask whatever that lady's name. I don't like saying her names for spoilers, whatever. But until you meet that one girl, and then it kind of picked up into like the first trailer they showed us, right, with the big giant as like that first trailer. That is when the game really like picked up for me. I was like, that is what I've been wanting to play for the last 4 hours. I've been playing this game, and I finished the game in about 6 hours,
Mhm.
which I was again disappointed by. But just that whole like, look, it takes me 4 hours to get to a point where I'm like, yes, this is what I wanted to play. I can't give the game like a 9 or 10 or like an
Okay.
8 because it
That's
just took
fair.
so long. And then it's the puzzles as well. Like they're not hard, but when I'm like playing at 10 p.m., which was on my fault, when I'm playing at 10 p.m. and I'm just yawning because I don't know where to go sometimes and I'm just confused, it's not a fun experience.
Wait, so
For the
you
long
were you
walking
kind of confused as far as directions at times?
There was one puzzle that pissed me off because I had to go around a corner that I didn't know. Because like, you know those little bubble puzzles where you have to like pop them and it like rearranges the world.
Okay,
There
I
was-
know what you're
there was
talking about.
one
Yeah.
Where like you have to climb. I thought you had to climb up this ledge that I couldn't climb, so I had to actually use photo mode to look over the mountain to see where I had to go.
Photo
like, thank God
mode.
this-
Perfectly for
honestly, yeah.
right in time when Colt joins in. What's up, Colt, brother?
Not much. I've got a few minutes. I wanted to stop by and say hi, but I don't know if you guys. I don't even know. I don't even know what I could bring to the table. I've
Well-
already finished the game, so.
Well, you
I
just
don't
give
know.
your thoughts. Just give your general thoughts and such. But I want to let MJ do this, and I'll jump to you since you don't
Okay.
have much time, and then we'll go to you, Dusty. Sorry about that. But so
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll
Hold
finish
here.
up quick.
go ahead, yeah, MJ.
Yeah, when I used photo mode to like go over the mountain to actually look where I was supposed to go, I was like, thank God Ninja Theory put this in the game because I would have like been stuck here for another. I would have never found my route if I didn't like use photo mode. I would have had to look it up, which I didn't want to
I
do
mean,
for this game. Like I've
I
done
found
for
that
other
one
games.
so easy.
No, it wasn't even hard. I just couldn't find the route. I just couldn't go around the
Yeah.
rock. Like, and the funny thing too, you're supposed to find like a different puzzle piece right there before you go around the corner. I
Yeah.
just didn't go far enough around the corner. I immediately backtracked.
Mhm.
So another annoying thing was that one puzzle, and then it was just the slow walking sections as well. Like the narrative is good, like the
Yeah.
writing is good, but like sitting there, and then there'd be like the pacing for me as well. There'd be a boss fight, you'd beat the boss fight. I'd feel so like adrenaline filled, exhilarated, and then it would throw me through this little section where I can't do anything for like a solid 5 minutes straight. I'm just walking and listening to voices.
So
I don't
let me
care.
ask you something, MJ. Did you played the first game, right?
I played the first game. Yeah.
What did you think about that one in comparison to this one? Did you have about the same rating? A 7?
See, no, looking back on it, I'd give Hellblade 1 a 6 out of 10. That's just what I
Ah.
would give, like looking back on it. So it has improved
not your type of game.
score-wise.
Yeah.
But no, like I like narrative games, I do. But this one, it was like everything. But I feel like the walking sections, there were just too many. Like
I
where
will
it's a 6-hour
agree
game-
on that particularly, that I did think there was way too much of the walking sim aspects. And I want to get to that in a bit and kind of ask you guys, what didn't you like? And that was one of them for me. And I knew
There'll be.
I knew it was coming. I knew that you would walk, but I thought because of the expanded landscape, like we were talking about, Hargeet, it did feel like, okay, I'm walking a little too long now. At
Yeah, no, I thought there was
points.
a bit more
Right,
freedom to
so-
it. And there was also one narrative decision, but like not really narrative decision. It's way more late game. It's I don't really want to say it because it's spoilery,
Yeah.
kind of spoilery section.
Okay.
Kinda, not really. But there's a point in the game where you are given a choice when you like walk. You can walk to one thing or another, and I don't know if it changes depending on what you walk to. But when I played it, I thought, oh my god, if I don't walk to that thing, something bad's gonna happen. I'm trying not to spoil it, but nothing happened, and I'm thinking, why did you even add that? Like, why was there development time wasted on this little section where I would think there's replay
To scare you.
when there was nothing?
It was there to
Yeah,
scare
but to scare me. But like, still, like, what was the point? You could have like actually done something there, or maybe
Yeah.
made Senua go a certain path.
I get you.
There's like a lot of small gripes I have with the game that add up, and that's it was
Okay.
Just, like,
Well, I think-
underwhelming for me, I would say.
I think that, to your point, like this, and these are the types of games you might like, but they might do certain things you don't like, right? And I think knowing you as I've known you, you're more of an action type guy, like where you like to jump into action. Like
Yeah.
I know how
Like,
you
if
are
this
when it
game
comes
was all
to,
combat.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. This
And-
game was all combat sections. 10 out of 10. They
and I
nailed
think
that.
that's part of the issue for you, because some of this is like they want you to have moments where you're reflecting, you're looking at the landscape, you're seeing the destruction around you, you're hearing the voices, you're kind of like
I know, too.
battling the psychosis,
Like
so you don't really have just
Yeah.
action all the time. You know what I mean? I think that's part
That
of
one
it.
section though, where like they were breathing
that
the
is the
fire
point.
near the start. One of you guys
Yeah.
mentioned it earlier. Where like they're like, I was losing it at that point. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like with the music and then like the
Mhm.
smokes of fire, I was actually losing it. I was like, this is amazing.
Do you know what Ninja Theory should do post launch?
What's that?
Add a combat mode, like an arena.
Oh, like a
mode.
boss mode, like a boss rush
was gonna
mode or
say
something
that,
like that, right?
So you could just
Yeah.
do combat non-stop. Honestly,
I like that idea.
They wanna,
Yeah, literally,
That's what I
that would be
thought.
amazing, right? Yeah.
That'd be a nice way to get.
That'd be
Oh
something
my
like Last of Us
to
2
it as
stuff,
well.
right? Instead of being forced
Yeah.
through sections, they just throw enemies at you.
That's
Like,
a great
that would be
point,
fun.
Inked. Yeah, that'd be dope, because they actually with like Stellar Blade, for instance, which I think too many people judge because, oh, she's sexy is bad. No, that game is actually really fun. But the combat is really fun in there, and they're adding a boss attack mode. I think I agree with you 100%. If they added a specific like boss rush kind of battle mode or something like that, a little arena.
They did that with God of War, right?
They did.
Yeah,
Did the same
It was
thing.
a roguelike, right, or something like that. I didn't play it yet, but
Yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
a roguelike.
I need to play that too.
Yeah.
yeah, I have to go back to it. But Colt, just because I know you're limited on time. What was your general takeaway for the game yourself, and like what is your score? What did you land? I landed at an 85. Hargeet provisionally, and Ham provisionally. I think Ham is at where I'm at, 85. Provisionally, Hargeet is at 87. Inked, what was yours again?
87.
87.
Yeah, 87 as well. Yeah.
MJ is a 7. And
So 70, yeah. around
so
there.
70 for you, and Tarzan's was at 87, I believe, provisionally as well. And Dusty, we do have to get to you too. Sorry about that. We'll come to you right after Colt. But yeah, Colt, what was your general thoughts on it, man? And like, did you think there's any Xbox tax going on, any taxation?
Oh yeah. There's a massive Xbox tax. It's obvious. Like you don't need to take it to Superior Court and run through all the evidence to see if it's an actual thing. And this comes from the guy who doesn't believe and didn't believe in the Xbox tax the past couple of years, right? So I gave Hellblade 2 a 2 out of 10 because it didn't have any backflipping aluminum codpiece mechs with laser beams and flying missions.
For real.
Where
Like,
you
there weren't even any guns, man. Like 1 out of
yeah, there was no like talking naked creatures that you could hunch. It didn't have all of the.
You know what, there kind of was.
I didn't have all of the. Yeah, I did have had a couple naked creatures. Yeah. I did not like Hellblade 1. I tried to play it twice. I got 2 major glitches that wouldn't let me go forward in 2 different areas. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe something was wrong with me, but I did not enjoy the game, and I know everyone loved it, so I kept my mouth shut and said, let people enjoy. Well, as my good friend Fonz in the chat, if you don't like a game, just let people know once and move on. But Fonz was on the phone with me the other day for an hour trying to convince me that the game's not good, but I didn't like the game. But when I played Hellblade 2, from the very moment all the way until the end, I was engaged. I was in the vibe. I was in the zone. I was just enjoying everything. I really liked it. So I gave the game an 8.5 out of 10, an 85. Yeah, they could have done way more of the combat and to kind of put some jokes aside. I think Senua should have had some other type of weaponry or some other way to dispatch enemies other than taking them on one by one.
Arrows for
I think she should have
throwing
had,
darts or something like that.
Yeah, throwing knives or maybe a crossbow, but it takes away the personal. Yeah, something. Yeah, throw an axe and it comes back into her hand really quick. I would have liked something a little extra.
Wow.
That was his joke on Kratos.
I really enjoyed the combat. I really enjoyed the storytelling and the characters and just everything. The visuals are incredible. I put my neck out on the line. I told people that the game at 30 frames was actually the right move. I played it for a couple hours on PC, and it was a phenomenal experience on a great PC. But then something was missing. Like, it no longer felt like a movie. And I know we always joke about the cinematic filmic thing, but this is the only game I've played in my entire life. Well, except for Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've played that on PC. You miss something when there's 2 games in my life that actually felt like Red Dead Redemption 2 feels like you're playing a Western that was shot by a top tier film production crew.
Love that game.
And I played on PC. It's great at high frame rates. But then when I play it on Xbox at 30 at 4K, I'm like, what's wrong with this? This is great. We loved the game.
Yeah.
But I
you
put
like
my neck out on the line.
you playing it on Xbox after playing it on PC, Code. You like, brother.
Ooh, brother. Yeah, and because it was so real.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the anamorphic lens, the everything they did with the lens breathing, the bokeh, all that stuff. The game feels so realistic, like you're playing a film, right? And Fonz keeps saying 60 FPS or bust, right?
Yeah.
But when I went to PC, it felt like True Motion was turned on, and I'm like, ooh, brother, ooh. And I would never, ever say that about any other conventional video game. But I feel like for the first time in my many years of 40 years of gaming, where I felt like Hellblade 2 was not a conventional game. It had done things I've never seen before. And I happily played it the way it was. I talked to my good friend Rand. He's like, once I played the game and saw it at 30 and it felt great, he said, I never thought about it again. I said, yeah, it was never, ever, it wasn't just not a problem. I loved it the way it was. And that being said, I'll say this at the end, and then I'll let you guys have your chill back, is that I think it will get a 60 FPS patch, which will compromise on visuals in the next year. And, maybe I'll try it like that. But I'm really happy with the experience I had the way it is. No complaints here.
Okay, well, that's like, all of that is really great to know. Like, Funds, I'm looking at it in the chat. Funds is like,
he's just dogging on the game. Like.
My brother Funds is like, don't settle for this. This is a disservice. He said it's a 45.
I thought I was harsh on the game.
Oh no,
like he's on. This.
Funds does not play. Funds said this is a 4.5 out of 10 for him. Dang,
yeah, for
Fonz.
him. Yeah.
Now, see, I don't want to dismiss him. Like
Fonz wants to line himself up with Dreamcast guy. Like, let me get
right
no. in the I'm just joking. I love Fonz.
Fonz
and I were actually just talking before I jumped on here, and we give each other a hard time about our different opinion on it.
God.
That is a low score. Like, Fonz, what was your? I don't know if you played the first one. I'm sure, Fonz. Tell us in the chat, what was your score for the first game? Like,
can I make a standardization that I think everyone needs to adopt immediately?
What's that?
I don't think you should give a game under a 6 unless it doesn't work. Like if it's unplayable,
I
it's
agree.
broken, or it's really buggy. And I think there should be a standardization that six is boring or bad. 7 is good or great. 8's amazing, and 9's incredible. And there shouldn't be really any 10s. But like and this has been my opinion for 15 or 20 years. When I see, because I've watched reviews for so long that the 4s and the 5s were almost, I'm just gonna say, they were always reserved for games that were broken. Like, remember that game Amy, like 15, 12 years ago? There was a game called Amy, and it was like crappy. It sucked. It was broken. Or Ride to Hell Retribution. The game was so
not that long
buggy
ago, Kong,
and unplayable.
Right? Not that long ago, Kong.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh,
King
Kong.
Kong.
I mean, people. Did you see that outlet that scored it next said Gollum was a better game?
That's wild.
I think there should be a standardization that anything under 6, like if you're going to give a game a 5 or a 4 or 3, like it's not playable. Like if it's boring, or if you don't feel like it evolved, like giving a game a low score because it did not evolve much from the first, like what the fudge are we doing when there was literally Miles Morales and Spider-Man that got the exact same score?
100%.
And I'm not saying that's a knock on those. Those games deserve to get an 80 something because they're great. And Hellblade got an 81. So it's the same thing. It didn't evolve much from the first game. It's just as good as the last one. But there were outlets out there giving it 4s and 5s and really low score, 2 stars out of 5 because they said it didn't evolve. It's like, where are we in this world where we mark a game based on the merits of the game before? Like, you should always review a game based on its things standalone. You shouldn't knock the devs for not evolving. Holy crap, how did God of War Ragnarok get a high score when it hardly evolved over the broad scope of the game? Those are both great games, 2018 and Ragnarok. Those both got great scores because the reviewers did their job. Hey, on its own, it's amazing. Hey, the first one was amazing. And the Xbox tax is ridiculous when it comes to this. And I didn't subscribe to the thing, so...
Hey, well,
Why is
I loving the energy.
Like the first hour is slow. I don't get that. Like in the first 20 minutes, I was already fighting.
I agree. I didn't think it was slow at all.
Yep.
I thought it was fine. That's where I have an issue, is because it's like, wait a second. If you're saying this first hour is slow, you're almost telling me that you didn't even play the last one. That's what I feel like personally, because it's just like, if you played the first one, it's even longer before you get into battle.
Agree. And the pacing is worse in the first one. This one is way better. The pacing in this is far superb. Like,
this game was better in every way than Hellblade: Senua'S Sacrifice.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. I'm sorry. I'm not even. I say sorry. I'm not really sorry, but I'm sorry. I just disagree with such of a score, and I agree with you 100%, Colt. I had this discussion we were talking about, I think, on the Xbox Infinite or the Infinite Now podcast with Brisket, and it was some game I forgot, or it was a game that I think like Jim Sterling, I think it was for Starfield. I think that person. I think Jim Sterling is a joke, and anybody who's like has an agenda, like he hates Bethesda, so he's like, oh, I'm going to rate it low because of that. You should not have a review. You should not be able to review a game. Same with Metro. You know, I halfway want to say PC Gamer too. But my thing is when you got a game at a 4, to me, you're telling me that game is essentially broken. Essentially.
Yeah. And I guess Umbra, I kind of agree with you. I would rather that they could absolutely do the review. I think sites like Metacritic and OpenCritic should then say, yeah, you're a little bit off here. This isn't helping our site, so you can F off, right? So, like, they're selling a product too, right? And I don't think OpenCritic and Metacritic should allow that then, right? Because they want a good, system, right? So, and that's where it should get fixed, right? Let them make whatever review they want. It just wouldn't get counted or weighted.
I mean, they aren't really weighted. Like, the reason why Hellblade is an 81 or an 82, it's no 82 on OpenCritic, is because those outliers are very few. And, and I was like, Fonz is like trash. And he was talking to me on the phone. He goes, Cole, it's objectively a bad game. And I said, hold on. This was a moment. We were on the phone and I went to Metacritic and I go, I'm going to count for you the 90 through 100 reviews that are on Metacritic for Hellblade 2. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I counted all the way to 41. And I said, Fonz, 41 of the 85 reviews right now are 90 to a 100. And it's like there's some 90s, there's a couple 93s, the rest were 95 and 98, and then 100. Of course, people are like, oh, those are from the Xbox Tavern and Xbox Jelly Bean, pot or whatever. And it's like, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the reason why Hellblade is an 82 is because it's an overwhelmingly loaded with 9s and 8s. Well, actually, I would just say it's overwhelmingly loaded with 9s. And that's the reason why it's a high rated game. It's not trash. And if Metro gives it a 5 out of 10, who cares? They're 1 point among 85 reviews. So, yeah. But it's not enough to save Xbox.
Well, do you guys think that we can
Fonz is saying he never said objectively. That's what he's saying, objectively.
No, he said objectively.
What were you saying though, Ink? I'm sorry. And I want to go to Dusty right after this. Sorry, Dusty.
Yeah, how do we combat meta? Like, should we suggest like a review system for the reviews?
Well, Brisket, my brother Brisket, actually, speaking of that, Brisket talked about this in depth a few times, and I agree with him. There needs to be magical sprinkles. There needs to be a specific kind of, revision to how reviews are counted. And because the way they do it now, I agree with him. It leaves too much room, not just for like some happenstance, but it leaves room for people who have an agenda to come in and fiddle with things to mess up the score. And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of games have been harmed by that. Some people are like, well, reviews don't really matter. Sometimes they do, because some of these companies, as we've known, have used these scores, be they lower or whatever, to determine pay for some of these developers. So I think sometimes it's tied to that. But I
actually disagree.
You disagree with the reviews as far as the matter?
I disagree with redoing the reviews and whatnot. For me, it's just like kind of what Hargeet said earlier. It's like, just flood them with games. Like, give them so many games that they can't deny it anymore.
Well, I see, this is my thing about it. I get what you're saying, and then Hargeet is not wrong there either. But just flooding them with games doesn't change the reality of what they'll do, right? Necessarily. So, but my thing is we can have both.
That switch on over. If there's a lot of people that switch on over because there's a lot of stuff to play over here and there's not so much to play over there, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's wrong.
PS3.
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
no, that's possible, right? But
when they have something to do.
But this is my thing. That's possible. But we've already had this discussion where we know that we lost so much when the digital switch happened. Like, nobody's really switching from PlayStation to Xbox when it comes to that. Their library is over there. Same for us over here. Our library is here.
I disagree with that too.
But before I go to that, let me just say this one part. I think we can have room for both, right? So I agree with you where we can flood them with good games, and they'll have to acquiesce at a point. But should we not still expect a more marital based? I don't even know if that's the proper word for that, but a more merit-based system where they don't have the framework is set where they have to put it in a certain way where they can't. It leaves no room for them to put their agendas through it. You know what I mean? I think we can have both. But go ahead, Hargeet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the reason I disagree with that is that I think the majority of players are generally casual and they only play like 5 games or whatever it is, and a lot of them are free to play, and so their library consists of games that either A are irrelevant, like Madden 18 or something like that. They're not going to play that again, right? So it's the recent incarnation of a FIFA or Madden or whatever, right? Or it's Call of Duty, and guess what's happening to Call of Duty? It's going to go into Game Pass. So you'll have access to all the Call of Duties in Game Pass. You'll have access to all the Battlefields in Game Pass. You'll have access to all the Maddens and the FIFAs and all that because EA is part of Game Pass. They all happen to have MLB The Show. They happen to have NBA 2K, right? So like almost all the casual games are in Game Pass. So I don't know that library thing actually is an issue. It is an issue for somebody like me. For a lot of us, we have a lot of games. But we don't comprise the majority of gamers. We just don't. We're a small, and that's why they don't sell that much, right? All the games that we like, they sell like 1 million, 2 million copies, if that. And like that's not the so that isn't going to be your focus. Your focus is the casual gamer, and Xbox has a very good opportunity.
They do
this fall to pull those casual gamers back.
Right?
Right?
Now listen to the energy the way Hargeet said that. Why didn't you deliver your book that way when you were talking about it? He's like, have a fair. You hear all this change in tone, and in a world where Xbox has diversity, like, but I hear you on that. But let me ask this because this was asked in the chat. So I'll go to you, Dusty, and this is for everybody too. And I asked this before you got here, Colt, but I was asking about the play time of being 5 hours roughly to finish the game to 8 hours. Was that a detriment or a positive for you all? But to Dusty, there was a question in the chat from Cygnus and he pointed out that the play time for people on and by the way, welcome MJ Dark. I forgot to introduce you. Thank you, brother, for joining us too for the round table. But to you, Dusty, for one, I want to get your view on the game, your overall score or provisional score. And did you think, because like Cygnus was saying, the game is not having as many people playing it on Steam as such as compared to other games. Do you think that matters for this type of game? And to all of you all, I guess, does that really matter? Because I don't think it really does to this, because it's not some multiplayer game. It's a single player game. But what was your overall view of the game and your score?
Okay, so where do I begin? Because a lot of people had a lot of things to say, and I was trying to make notes of it to remember it when it got to my turn.
Sorry about that.
So no, you're good. You're good. So I'm coming at this from a different standpoint. I'm gonna be starting the game either tonight or tomorrow. So I haven't started yet. I cheated a little bit and been watching gameplay from like Rad Brad and Hollow and Jack Frags and all of them. Yes. So my opinion is gonna be different for now. Now, what I will start with is this. From what I have seen so far, this game is absolutely beautiful. And to see a lot of these low scores really makes me like laugh, because then I sit there, I'm like, I haven't even started this game yet, but from what I'm looking at, what the hell are you talking about? Now, I can't comment on gameplay because I don't know anything yet. So once it's in my hands, then I can give a better opinion, and then I can be like, well, it feels like this, it feels like that. From a viewer's standpoint, and somebody who started the first game, got through, I think maybe half of it, when I was with my ex and whatnot, and because we were enjoying it together, and now seeing in comparison to the second game, miles difference as far as like quality, graphics, resolution, all of that, just every little detail in this game from what I've seen so far is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. I can't give comments about obviously the puzzles and stuff yet, but I will say this game is designed to be an experience, and everyone is entitled to their opinion, so I don't want anyone to think that they're not by me saying this. However, I try to always have the mind, because I have grown up in the film industry because of my father, and I try to have this mind where I'm always going to want what I want because I love what I love and I enjoy what I enjoy. But if I'm going to go into a piece of property that doesn't necessarily fall into the realm of what I completely want, I need to be mindful and aware that I'm going into it for what it is, not for what I want. Do I want to enjoy it? Yes. Do I want to be satisfied with this piece of property? Yes. Do I want to walk away from it feeling like I got something out of it. Yes. But if I'm going into it like, man, if they just did this the whole time because that's what I like, you're not really giving this piece of property the proper chance that it was actually created for.
I agree with that.
However, I can't completely argue with that because at the end of the day, we have all said this at one time, gaming is a selfish sport. We are all selfish to ourselves for what we want out of gaming because this is our thing. This is what we do to get away from everything else and enjoy time and, you know, be with friends or whatever. However, same thing with like a movie. I never have gone into any Marvel movie thinking this is what they need to do. No. I went in with a blank canvas and a blank slate saying, what did you prepare for me? I don't walk into a restaurant saying, like, this is what I need you to do when you make your chicken wings. When you do your lemon pepper, I need you to do it this way. No. I'm paying for the experience to wait and see, like, how are you making this for me? And then I'm going to determine how I feel about it and either leave you a good or bad review on Yelp. So we are all entitled to our opinion and we are all entitled to how we want to play our games. With a game like this, it is designed to be an experience. And for someone like me who's very much mentally in their head all the time because of his own life experiences, maybe I connect with this franchise on a more personal, deeper level than your average person. From what I've seen in the gameplay that I've watched so far, I can tell you definitively, in my opinion, that this game has great pacing. It is slow in the beginning for a reason, just like any TV show where the first 2 to 3 episodes are slow for a reason, not just because they're just slow and they didn't know how to create a better 2 to 3 episodes. No, it's pacing is important, but if you pay attention to the story and the layout, all the voices that are speaking to her, how she's trying to take all of this in before it really gets going from there, that's what you're supposed to experience. That's what it's supposed to be about. So far from what I've seen, if I even could give it a score, because I haven't played it yet, I would say this game is between an 8 and a 9.
Oh, wait, so you haven't had a chance to play through it yet?
I said that.
Okay, I see.
I'm sorry.
I missed that part.
So everything, there was a lot I said in the beginning where I can't definitively comment on this and this and this.
Got you.
I have not even tested the gameplay. So I'm not gonna be one of those people that tries to speak on something they don't know.
Okay.
I don't do that.
That's fair enough. At least you gave the forewarning that you didn't. I didn't hear it. But
exactly. But what I will say is, from what I have seen so far, paid attention to the narrative, looked at it graphically, just trying to take everything in before I touch this myself. This game is between an 8 or a 9 right now. Yeah, I haven't seen any other experience that looks like this. But from a viewer standpoint, I'm not, oh, this game versus that game. This is how I felt the first time I saw God of War 2018. I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. And back then, I didn't care about blue versus green. So, and I really kind of don't care about that now. I just kind of laugh when people look kind of stupid about it, and they're usually a pony. Anyway, the point I'm making is this. Enjoy this game how you want, how you see fit, and that is completely fine. But if I'm going to be fair to this game, I'm going to take it in for the way they created it and then give my full opinion later. Most chances are on my own show this next Wednesday. And then, you know, everyone can either burn me in the chat or comments or whatever.
Yeah.
But until then, that's my standpoint on this. I think this game has been very well made narratively. Oh, that was the other point I wanted to make. Somebody said, you guys were talking earlier about how, you know, she deserves an award. The main actress character, I always forget her name, but she deserves an award for this.
Melina, I believe, Juergens.
Thank you. Yeah. She not only deserves an award for this, but as somebody who's grown up and watched like my dad participate in the Academy Awards, she deserves an Emmy / an Oscar for this. Like the technology that has been created, you need to be on point as an actor to portray, even if it's conveyed into a video game. And the portrayal of Senua is just absolutely mind-blowing. Oscar worthy in my opinion, because I've seen movies where, you know, people are trying to give this, you know, Oscar worthy, you know, performance and dialogue and monologue, and to me, trying to be subjective, objective and whatnot, I don't see it. But here I'm like, if this could count for something in the academy, please throw an award at her.
She deserves something, and you haven't played it yet for sure. But once you do, your words will make much more sense to you as well.
Like if there's anything that's a 10 out of 10 in this game, it is her performance.
Performance and audio, performance, audio, and visuals. Yeah, absolutely 10 out of 10s. No question.
Yeah, no questions asked. Like the overall game, you know, you can give whatever score you want, but if she don't get no award for this role, some sort of praise from the community, like whatever, I don't even know. Like I might even finally say something online to Jeff Keighley myself.
There you go. Go after him.
I try to stay out of that. I try not to, you know, sometimes I go there when people say stupid things on X, but with a show that Jeff Keighley presents, it is very possible that she could not get recognized for something. And if that were to happen, I'm going on X and I will personally say something.
He's had a few happen on the VGAs where I was like, yeah. But yeah, so, I hear you.
Sorry, not to take too long on my part, but
you're good.
Those are my overall thoughts. If anything else comes to mind, I'll share it. But But like I said, I think this game is absolutely beautiful. Just looking at the gameplay, it looks like a lot of fun to play and experience. But I'm not somebody who likes puzzles, so when
you'll be fine with it, because it's not it's not as terrible to me. I thought the first game sucked because of those puzzles, but this is fine.
That Ubisoft game that came out a few years back, what was it called? The godly game,
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Thank you. The first 2 puzzles I did, I said I'm out. Like
wow,
I know.
You really don't like puzzles,
I really don't. If I have to think for longer than
I can
5
see
minutes,
Dusty in school now. They gave him little puzzles to put together. He's like, yeah, he knocked it all on the floor.
And I'm somebody who hates giving up on things, on shit like that. Like I really try to be like, no, truck through it. You can figure this out. You have intelligence.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this. Like there was one on screen just now that is kinda, I wouldn't say difficult, but it challenges you. There are some that challenge you later on in the game for sure. But the typical ones, like the little find this piece and connect it to that one thing, that they're not as egregious in this one to me, personally. But yeah, so we have to get to the next. And Fonz jumped in. So Fonz, I'm assuming you don't have too much time to give us, do you, Fonz?
Oh wait, sorry. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I agree with Colt. Like, if you're giving a game a score anything lower than a 6 or a 5, this is my last point. Anything lower than a 6 or a 5, there really has to be something buggily wrong with this game. You know, I know how I said that, but there really has to be a straight up problem. Like, where even in the community, it was like the night Cyberpunk dropped, where everybody's talking to everybody about how can we fix this. So if Cyberpunk doesn't fall to a 4 or a 5 or whatever because of what happened with that, why are we grading great ass games that are not broken in that same type of scale? I don't. That's all I wanted to say. You know?
Okay. Well, thank you for your thoughts on it, bro. Fonz, are you there with us? Are you here? I don't know if you're muted or not.
Apparently not.
Yeah, he probably stepped away for a second.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, there he is.
I was muted.
So, Fonz, you have a very different take on things. You have a 4.5.
Anybody to say that like you can't give a below average score to a game if it's not broken, that's ridiculous.
Why do you think so?
You honestly, because that's why the scale is there to begin with. That's why it starts with 1. That's why I think it's kind of ridiculous at the same time to think that a game that hits a 70 is terrible. It shouldn't be.
Well, 70 is good though. See,
it should be.
Let me ask you, what's a 4 to you, though?
In the grand scheme of things, when people look at the scores, anything below 80, most casuals out there will say, "Oh, it must."
That's true. But let me ask you though, what's your scale? Because 1 is definitely broke. What's a 4 to you?
So it's not just broken. When the game does not work for you, and what I mean by that is, if it doesn't jive with you at all, then you have every right to give it a score lower than an average score, what you would give to an average game.
This is an interesting topic.
Especially if you were, if you slogged through it and beat that entire game and still came away with there was nothing redeeming there, you have every right to give it a score, however you see fit.
So let me ask you, Fonz, you didn't find anything redeeming about Hellblade 2?
No. Matter of fact, I thought, and look, and first I want to clear my name because Colt put something out there I did not say. I had many conversations with Colt, and nowhere
ever did I say objectively the game is bad. I've always talked on my personal feeling on the game. So when I'm talking to him and I tell him, Colt, the game is bad, he just runs with, oh, you must think everybody should think it's bad. No, I'm talking about myself. If I shouldn't have to preface everything I say about a game with, oh, by the way, my opinion. No, I think it's a bad game. I think the gameplay mechanics in here are so sparse and so far and few between that the entire experience was a horrible one for me.
Well, you mean like gaming, gamified moments? You're saying, right?
I was bored to tears with this game. Remember that a thing that Dealer used to say on RDX all the time: press X to be bored.
Yeah,
I pressed up on the analog stick to be bored with this one. This one, it was a lot like the first game. And, I didn't beat the first game because I did not like that game. So there's no Xbox tax here.
What was your view of the first game? What was your score for that one? Would you say for the first game?
I can't score. I never beat it. So I don't.
Okay, I see.
I didn't beat the game. So I tried to play that game and I hated it. I freaking, because it was just boring to me.
So it sounds like this is not like what Hargeet was mentioning. It might not be your type of game, right? Is that what it is?
Going into this one that I'm not going to like this game. Right?
I see. Okay.
But
Preconceived notion. Yeah.
So here's my deal with it though. And a lot of people say this too. They're like, why did you expect anything different? Well, because I'll give you two reasons. One, when you have a sequel, you always expect there to be a little bit of evolving in the game with the mechanics or with skill trees or whatnot. And Colt brought up Spider-Man. The Spider-Man games did in fact evolve. They had more skill trees. They had new abilities. They had things to do that were different than the first or the games before them. Okay. So with Hellblade 2, they added a couple of little things, but not enough in my opinion. The combat itself felt a lot like the first, except way more brutal and way more. I think the presentation overall was the thing that sets it apart for any game, really. I will give it that. You said, is there anything that's redeeming about it? It's the presentation. The presentation
Did you
of
play
the
with
game.
headphones, Fonz?
No, I will not play with headphones. I don't play any game with headphones.
Yeah, but
I
you're
won't.
missing
I
like
won't.
half the audio if you don't do that.
You know what? People
that's
can
the
say
first
that
problem.
I'm missing this or that. I don't care about what's going on. The story to me, anyway, is not compelling enough.
But Fonz,
It's not
clearly
compelling.
it's just not your game, right?
It's not compelling.
It's
though.
like
The story
playing
even is
Pentiment
not
saying this is
compelling.
a 2.
Well,
I
would it
watched-
be compelling if you were able to hear
Even
all
if it
of
was
the
here's
dialogue?
the thing. Even if it was a movie, it wouldn't be. What do you mean? I could hear the dialogue just
asking.
fine. I could hear all the whispers and everything being said to her. I could hear it on my surround sound system.
Got you.
I don't
have a
use
surround
headphones
sound
because I
system, it's
use
not the same.
surround sound.
It's not the same.
But I hear
Binaural.
I
The
hear
sound
it.
does come through the speakers. Like I played on
I hear everything.
X
I hear it
yeah,
behind
you
me.
can
I hear
hear.
it in front of me. I hear it all.
Yeah,
So
it
that's-
does
that's
work.
Not the same, Fonz.
I mean,
I literally have Atmos in my room. It's just not the same.
Audio is not going to change the gameplay for me though, and that's the problem I had. You know what the best
I kinda
sequences
feel like
that
it
I
is
had
what
in
it
this
is,
game with
though.
the gameplay. Well, you know what the best sequences for me was with gameplay in this game? Not the combat.
What was it?
Combat was just okay.
Hmm.
It was the parts where you actually ran.
Yeah.
Because the game was so slow, I was walking. It was a slog the whole time, and so the parts where it was like, okay, you have to run to this pillar, you got to run to that pillar, you got to run. Those were the moments I was like, wow, I'm actually playing a game now. This actually feels kind of fun. But then I realized it after the whole experience was done. I thought about it and I go, why was that so enjoyable? Oh, because the rest of it was so slow. So slow. And that's the problem with it. It's the pacing, it's the slowness of the game. It's
I would agree
I
on
just don't
the general
care
thought of
on-
moving
on-
around.
about games like this. And this is what pisses me off so much. There's been so much contempt for Sony games being too cinematic and stuff. This game is more cinematic than any of those games ever.
Mhm.
Like, there's no game on the Sony side that's anything like this. Not one. Because they're not as slow as this, and they have more game mechanics than this. There's not enough.
I can agree with that. Let me
I'm
say this though, really
I'm
quick,
praying
Fonz.
that Ninja Theory puts this franchise on the back burner, the way back burner.
You really feeling it.
else.
You feeling it in a way of not feeling it.
And
But
I know they
Let's
have
get
other
leading edge,
games
too.
that they could build because
Yeah.
I know Sony owns the IP for like Heavenly Sword, but
Yeah.
damn, I want them to make something like that again.
So-
because they are talented.
But
They are a
so
great
this
studio.
so this is my thing though, Fonz. I hear you on all your thoughts, and I disagree with you on a lot of it. I do agree on
and that's fine. And
not
I
the
won't
not
cut your head off for
the
liking
not the
game, but
pacing
I won't-
part. But let me say this: not
I
the
didn't
not the
cut your
pacing
head
part.
off for liking the game.
Yeah, but not the pacing part. I agree with you on the fact that since it was more open and expanse, you did have way too many walking sim moments where I thought like, come on, you all could have cut this part to have something else happen here where it felt like it dragged on those moments. But overall,
I felt
I thought
like
the
it was
pacing
like-
was really solid.
Dude, it was so bad to me that by the time I was done, it was like maybe 6 hours and 40 minutes, something like that.
Mhm.
It felt like 20 hours. It felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Because man,
It's
I-
just
and I
not. It's
push
just not your
myself
type
all
of
the
game.
time.
It sounds like
I-
it really
No,
sounds like
it-
that's just
it's
not your style.
definitely Not, but
Yeah.
I know that for the majority of gamers out there, and I think I could speak for that because of the way the game, the first one didn't sell, and I assume, I'm just speculating that this one probably won't sell very well either. I'm assuming that a lot of
Oh.
gamers out there aren't going to find this game
niche.
very enjoyable.
It's niche and it's on Game
It's
Pass.
niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
It's
I
niche.
could see that it's not going to be a game for a lot of gamers out there because
Yeah.
there is less game than cinematic here.
Hmm.
Yeah, well,
I guess I
the
could see some of that.
casuals- Yeah,
If
all
you're
the
in it for the
casuals I know
cinematic-
aren't into it. They're not
Yeah.
into it.
Well,
If you're in it for
well,
the
well,
cinematic experience, more power to you. Yeah,
Well, as
but
as a person that finished the game, I just wanted to kind of throw like finish the first game.
yeah, I didn't.
Like I just feels kind of weird to say that it didn't evolve much when you didn't finish, or like you stopped halfway.
Because when you play half of the game, even half of this game, you pretty much played the whole game in terms of mechanics. You did.
From what you played in the
if
first
you
one, you didn't think it
stop at-
evolved combat wise or anything?
Yeah, it barely, it didn't evolve. They added a new mechanic, and the presentation was better.
Okay, but
That's what I see.
presentation for sure, like how they'll grab you, for instance, once you finish off
Mhm.
another guy. I can see
And
that.
the way the camera swings around and stuff.
Yeah, I can see
the,
that.
The more visceral feel.
Yeah.
The combat, I guess, that
Mhm.
in that regard. But the actual button prompts and stuff, it wasn't
Oh,
much.
let me ask you, what difficulty did you play it on? Dynamic or hard? Okay, so you played on hard for
And
sure.
the
All
reason
right.
why is because I can't spoil it. Because there's a mechanic in the game they give you,
Mhm.
and it totally ruins the experience. It makes it easy and cheap. I'll give it that.
For certain enemies, I know what you're talking about. Definitely, the
That
one like
mi-
fire breather, I would die to him so many
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
one
but that
mechanic's
mechanic though, that one mechanic you do, and then everything becomes easy mode. It's weird.
It does, yeah.
And even the puzzles, I'll say, like, because I did a few of the puzzles in the first one. Even I think they're harder on that first game.
That mechanic was in the first game.
I think they're harder in the first game.
That mechanic was in the first game.
MJ,
yeah.
MJD, you got like a feedback coming through for your.
I think the puzzles were harder in the first game that I played than this one. The puzzles seemed really easy too. Like this game overall is just like an easy experience, I guess, in difficulty, but it's kind of a hard game to go through because it's very what is it? I got the same kind of feeling I did at the end of The Last of Us 2, to be honest.
What was that
you
feeling?
didn't get that sense of satisfaction. Like you felt more depressed than anything.
I guess I get your point. I did feel a bit sad at the end of The Last of Us
Especially
2,
at the
but
end,
not
at the
because
very
of that.
end,
It
where
was
it
because of
seemed
her
like
choices.
You get to, again, I can't spoil, but at the very end, it kind of ends abruptly,
Mhm.
even though I wanted it to end, don't get me wrong, but it ended at a part where I thought that could possibly get interesting, but it's gone. It's
Hey,
done.
Fonz, I just want to ask you one question. What's your favorite game of all time? Anyway,
I
outside
like a lot of those.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I like Red Dead Redemption
Oh,
franchise.
yeah.
I like
Hmm.
The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, not the second. I don't care for that game. It's great gameplay wise, but that story, just F that story.
Fonz, for the ending, were you talking about Hellblade or a different game?
Hellblade 2. Hellblade
Like,
2.
Okay, yeah, no, because I agree on that entirely as well. Like, they ended it so abruptly. I'm like, where's my last hour? Of
Yeah,
game?
and I'm
like, I was so
here's
confused.
the thing. I want to apologize to you guys if you think that I'm like hating on you guys for giving
Nah.
this. No, you guys can like
Just different
whatever you
opinions, right?
like.
We realize you're fully hating on this game itself. We know. No.
Like I don't feel any
People
type of
think-
way. I just don't understand the force still. Like I
And
still
people-
don't feel like that. I still don't
Yeah,
understand that.
I agree with that. I
that's-
don't
that's the
understand that
thing.
either
And
too
I
much.
could look at you. I could look at you and say, "Why do you give it an 8.5?" You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't make sense because.
But see, I can break down an 8. I
can't do
can't break down a 4. Like if I don't,
I
even if
can
I don't
break down a
enjoy a
4,
game,
but
I
when
can say it's a
I'm-
6. You see what I mean? Like I can say it's
When
a
I'm
that or
completely
a
bored
5,
with the
but a 4
experience, it gets lower than an average score. Like
below
like, if
average.
I
But
watch
below
an
average is like a
TV
5,
show-
I believe, though, right?
No, if I watch
No,
an
I'd say
average
below
TV
average
show,
is 4.
give it a
No,
5. I can
below
give it a
5
average.
is like in the middle average.
four-
I'd say 5 is like, look,
6 is
really good.
average. 6 is average because 7 is good. So below 6
Well,
have to be a 5.
6 would be okay, right? Like 4 is below average, 5 is average, 6 is okay.
We
7
have
is
to get a
good.
scale going here because I think our scale is different.
I don't know. When I was in
I wouldn't
school,
say
6 was failing.
Pretty
Need
much.
a
That's why I say it's
confident
below
critical
average,
sales.
right? Yeah. 7 is good.
Yeah, but-
6 is
but-
below average.
But yeah, and then you got the
How do
whole
we go
thing
from
where
good
you-
to below average
Numbers.
though?
Numbers
Like
are
you go
broken.
from
No, 7 is
Yeah.
7 is essentially average or good. 6 is below that. So it's below
Well, I
average.
would-
5 has
I
to be
give-
bad at that point, I would say, or below or
Oh, and you know what makes me?
We're all just running
like-
on different like scores here because I wouldn't
Yeah.
say Hellblade 2 is like average out of 7. I think it's a good game. I'd say like if I give it a
so a
5,
7 for
then
you.
average.
But you gave it a 7, so you thought it's good. That's what I'm
I
saying.
still
Like
think
if
it's a
you're
good game. I
if you're
wouldn't
saying it's
call it
good
average.
versus average is 6 in most scales. So if you're going to set
Well,
a
no,
4,
I would give the
you're
game
telling
a
me
6
that
if
game
I
is
thought it was, like,
bad. Like you think the
bearable.
game is like bad to close to broken when I hear 4. Just saying, like from my own scale. But then again, that's why I had to ask, what's a 4 to you?
Well, see, an average to me is a 5. Like that's the way I look at the scale and think it should be anyway. If you're
see.
looking at it like, because then what would really constitute a 1 or a 2? It would have to be completely just the worst thing ever, or
Right.
completely just unplayable.
And those lower
when peop-
numbers never get used. The lower
and when
numbers
people
never get used.
Yeah, and when people say that, well, the game has to be unplayable for you to give it a 4, I say, well, yeah, it's barely playable because I'm bored through the damn thing. Like that's how I look.
No, when they say unplayable, they're talking about technically though. Yeah.
But from a technical
Bad game.
perspective, the game works.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. It's the most, and I've gone out on Twitter and said the same thing. The game is the most beautiful looking video game I've ever seen.
The most beautiful, boring game you've ever seen for you.
No, I'm not talking about the game. I'm giving you some positives here. So
Yeah.
relish it. Okay?
All right.
Because it's rare. It's rare. But I think it's the most beautiful game I've ever seen. The animation and stuff is incredible. So the fight sequences and stuff, the facial animations and stuff, bar none, the best I've ever seen in a game. And it just makes me laugh when I see the Sony guys say Horizon Forbidden West looks better. No, the fuck it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It does not.
That
Not
game looks
one iota.
incredible too, but in a different way.
incredible,
That
yeah.
game is
Yeah.
more cartoony.
Yeah. It's
I don't know how to
art style.
explain
It's
it.
the art
doesn't
style.
feel.
Yeah.
It's the art style is different.
sleep.
Like
This game,
So-
that game-
Horizon
that
games,
game
they're
also-
so boring, man.
Hey,
uh,
I'm right there with you. Horizon
So-
Forbidden West is one of the most boring games I've played too.
It
I
is
know.
kind of boring. So before we go too far, I want to go to Mr. Joanna Dark
I'm
here.
sorry for taking.
No, you're all right, brother. I wanted to get different takes and all type of perspectives. Like what you feel is not what I feel. Like the old saying of Jay-Z,
Yeah.
what you eat don't make me shit. So it is what it is. I just want to get a understanding of why a 4. Because when I hear 4, for me, it's like you're telling me that game is jacked. Like you can't play it, but you're looking at it
was
from a
hard for
different
me to play.
perspective.
That's the different
So
perspective.
Yeah.
if I had to rate Baldur's Gate 3, what do you think I should rate it?
You'd probably give it a 2.
Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3.
Because I hated it so much.
That's a 4.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a 10. I don't want to hear any other score.
Hargeet-
No.
Hargeet hated
For me,
it.
was a
Yeah.
9.
And
For
100%
me, it was
not
a
a
I don't want to
9.
hear anything
Yeah,
else.
100%
Just
not.
no.
For me,
Yeah,
it
they
was
all
a
like
nine.
it.
Nah,
For
I
the
wanna hear
attraction,
I love it.
And bear sex.
And
It's
I had 0
bear sex out of
by
10.
the way.
Bear sex out
0.
of 10.
bear sex out of 10.
Yeah, bear sex out of 10.
Bear sex out of
Yeah.
10. I never actually had that scene yet. I need to go back and play through
So
it.
You want?
say out of
Oh, so you want the bear sex? I see. But
No, you know what? No, I just gotta
What would you
just to
pay for?
experience it.
You want to experience? You want to experience it? Hey, Mr. Joanna Dark. So to get a different perspective, what is your take on it as far as the game? What did you come to as far as a score? And do you agree with some of Fonz's take, or what? Like, what's your experience for this?
I think the game's a 10 out of 10, and this is someone who played it 4 times. I originally didn't love the original Hellblade. I agree with some of the things that people say about it, where it didn't get you. The puzzles can be sometimes to the point that I remember falling asleep one time when I was playing the game, because I was trying to find out and align some of the puzzles. But I think once I played it again, the game sort of grew on me, and going into the sequel, and now having played it, I think to me, it's what Ninja Theory originally wanted to make when it came to the original Hellblade. I think that I like the storytelling. I think the moment to moment, the best way I described it is, one of the things I loved about The Last of Us Part 2 is when you had those moments where Ellie was going in and basically murdering an entire town. You sort of felt the weight and the kind of the one-to-one intimacy of kind of going at it with the enemies. And I feel in Hellblade 2, when you have that one-to-one, when you meet these the enemies in there, you kind of feel that weight when she's executing them, when you're fighting them, and it sort of gets you into the game. I do agree that there in some places at first I felt the pacing was like, all right, cool. But I think from start to finish, I enjoyed it. I think it was what I wanted more of Hellblade. I think it did the little things that I in the combat to sort of make it more cinematic. I remember the first one, you had multiple enemies, and it just something didn't feel right. It just felt like I can just mash the button sometimes and just kind of like either throw one off the level, off the bridge or something. And I feel with this one, there are times where I died, and that was because either I didn't do the move correctly or I was just trying to feel out the enemy. I've unlocked everything in this game. I think Senua put an amazing performance. I love the take of sort of this Celtic and Norse mythology telling from Ninja Theory's perspective, where it kind of gives me God of War vibes, but their own version of how they're telling the stories about the gods. I think to some people, where I've read some reviews, in their mind, they made this game to be either God of War, and that Senua was Kratos, which she's not, and they sort of did what some did with Cyberpunk and many other games, where they invented this game in their mind, and when the game came to some, it wasn't there. If you didn't like the first one, I don't think you're gonna like the second one, because again, it's like me going into StarCraft and saying I never liked StarCraft, but then thinking the second one's gonna grab me because they're gonna have alien sex. So I think it's a 10 out of 10. I think they did a phenomenal job. If I had a little bit of critique, that there always is critique, nothing's perfect. I was hoping that they expanded maybe the gameplay a little bit more. And what I mean by that is, I like the one-to-one combat, but I wish there was a little bit more expansive, especially knowing what they've done with Heavenly Sword, which is one of my favorite games that they made back in the day. I felt that even though when you kind of look at Heavenly Blade, it sort of emulates Senua'S, Hellblade in general, but it was a little bit more dynamic. You had some of the combos you had to kind of figure out. Of course, you had the 6-axis where you could like fling stuff, and that was annoying. But it does have elements that felt the same, where you're pressing a button prompt and you're sort of executing the animation. But yeah, I just finished my 4th playthrough today.
Nice.
Of this game. So after 4 playthroughs, to me personally, it's a 10 out of 10, and I can see where the game is divisive. Where I do see some reviewers go, I see some that just don't align and they sort of seem they have more of a malicious intent behind it with some of the things that don't line up. So,
Yep.
I'm not going to name names. I'm not here to call people out. There was a review where the person said they spent an hour lighting torches, which is kind of what you're playing right now, that specific level. And I'm
Right.
like, this is the part where you had moments where, yeah, you had a fight, and then you have some other parts that reminded me. I don't know if people here have seen the movie The Descent, that horror movie.
Yeah, definitely reminded me of that. I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
So when I read this one review and kind of listened to it, I was like, oh, I walked for an hour. I was like, what? I was like, where? But again, to each their own. I just feel there's a lot of things in some reviews that left stuff out, like the replay. You can play the different voices and now listen to different perspectives because,
Yeah.
not to get too much in the story, does everything that Senua doing here is real at times, and is the perspective of what you're seeing the actual perspective that you're actually being told the story from. So I find that kind of interesting.
On my second playthrough, when I played on the Series X, I can't wait to see that because I unlocked those. I want to see
Yeah.
how that happens.
And not to be long-winded, because I know I've been talking a lot as well.
You're good.
I was, I played this game, just to let everyone know, I beat it on the Series X. I did not go to my PC. I went to play it because I wanted to see what the Series X was capable. And I loved it. As someone who, yes, I've tried games at 30 frames and I was like, for this game, for the type of game it is, 30 is fine. I'm not saying that, down the road, if something comes up for people that want the choice, for sure, give it to them, right? But I thought, I was like, I could not believe that a $500 and a $300 box with the Series S was doing something like this. And to me, this is kind of like when we all remember when we kind of jumped from the PS1 to the PS2, then from so forth. This is the game that I hope sort of launches to get developers to be like, man, if they can do a game like this, I can probably do so much more with this engine, and it gets the the creativity flowing across the board, across all different developers and publishers to kind of outdo Ninja Theory, and kind of like I said. And then when I played it on PC, I loved it. I played it on my PC handheld, which runs great. So I think I played on every device.
I'm going to try it on. We were talking about the handheld earlier, and I know I'm going to try it on the ROG just to rub it in your face, right?
You know what? I'm not really trying to argue with anything that you've said, because what you said is your opinion, and it's got to be respected. But you were saying that some reviewers reviewed it, and you felt like they were being sort of disingenuous or something by stating certain things, were just doing this or that. But to be honest, like, that's the way I felt during that mission as well. I felt like, man, this mechanic of just me walking around lighting torches were kind of, it was boring.
But you hated the first one too.
No, yeah. But here's what I'm.
Some of these reviewers gave the first one like a 9.
Okay.
And then came out and gave a 4 for the next one.
Okay, but if nothing evolved in the game,
I don't think that's enough to drop it to a 4, though.
That's just not enough.
I don't think so.
It could be a reason to bring down the score, but yeah, not to a 4.
Not to a 4. That's 50 points off. Yeah, I just don't believe that.
About that. But all
Like a
I'm
7?
trying to say is that there's certain points in the game where some people might feel a certain way and others don't, because gaming is subjective. And just like movies or whatever, you can like a movie that I may not like, and I didn't like this movie. It's just that simple. And if a reviewer's out there reviewing the game and he didn't like this movie either, he's going to review it as such.
See, but you're looking at it from a perspective of somebody who's actually genuine and honest. I don't think everybody doing this thing is genuine and honest.
Oh, I wouldn't say that for sure, but I don't subscribe to this whole Xbox tax thing. I don't, because the game's gotten if you score get make an aggregate of all the scores. There was 49s and 10s in this game. 49s and 10s.
I will not give Hi-Fi Rush a good score because it's Xbox and Xbox has no games. You're telling me there's no Xbox tax. That literally was somebody's review.
Well, that guy was a weirdo. He's an outlier, of course. But I don't think there's I don't think there's a lot of reviewers out there just dead set on just panning games.
And that's fair. But it's enough to drop the score.
By how much?
5 points?
Because
on average,
again, 49s and 10s was given to this game. That's
Yep.
why I don't think screaming Xbox
Lots of 9s
tax
and
is
10s
really.
for Starfield too.
I'm just saying.
But there were also some that
it's-
said, yeah, it's an Xbox game.
I mean,
And there were
just
others who
because-
had agendas like
Mhm.
it doesn't have enough trans people or something like that. And it's like, okay,
Well,
what does that have to do with
Well,
the
and
game?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I didn't see many reviews like that brought up that.
When it
Like,
comes
let's-
to the, sorry, go ahead.
No, Dusty, you can go.
When it comes to the Xbox tax, I'll say this, and I'm sure you guys can agree with this. When it comes to being in a crowd, the ones that are usually the loudest are the negative, right? But it's always usually a small subset of the total number of people. So with that being said, I can understand if there was a lot of people who gave it a great score versus the people who didn't or something like that. But at the same time, the people who didn't are loud enough to where it's kind of a problem, and that's why it's tax.
My,
Because it
my,
depends
my
on
whole,
who's saying it and where it's coming
5
from.
points, but
well,
you know,
well, hold up real quick. I just want to say something real quick. Like my whole thing is, it's just like from the people that were known to have played the, like I don't care about the people that said, Xbox has no games, yada yada, whatever. That happens like every time.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but
Right.
the thing that I don't understand is how somebody said, "Oh man, this game dealt with mental health. We need more games like this. We need this. We need that." Like I can't believe a story like this was told, and all of that. And the first game was amazing, and then you go into the second game where a lot of people are pretty much saying a lot of the same stuff of, "Oh, this game has a lot of what it had last time, except maybe a little bit more of this and maybe a little bit more of that." How do you go 40 to 50 points lower from the last game, from the prior game to this one? I don't understand how that works. Like I can understand if you don't like something. I can understand if you didn't like the first one, or maybe you like the first one better than the second one. But that point difference is insane. And I'm sitting here like thinking about situations where that happened, like Devil May Cry versus Devil May Cry 2. It wasn't as big of a fall off like this. Why is this okay? And that's what's so confusing to me, because Devil May Cry 2 is known to be like the worst Devil May Cry of them all.
Ham, you bring up an interesting point, because I don't understand how that works, but it just does, because there's people that are negative in that light, where they're like, I love the first one, but I didn't like this one. And then there's people on the opposite spectrum, like Colt, who said, I hated the first one, but I love this one. And I'm like, wait a minute, but it's the same type of game. Like, what are we doing? It's the same thing you're thinking, but negative. Like you're thinking of the negative comments and reviews and stuff that are saying essentially the same thing. I love the first one, hated this one. Then you've got the people that hated the first one, love this one. And it's like, you'll sit there and wonder, but it's all subjective. Like, people are gonna like what they like and don't like what they don't like. It's
that big of a point
we're never gonna
jump
make sense
just
of it.
doesn't sound it, in my opinion. And like I said, and at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't fucking matter. I'm just another person.
No,
but
all of our opinions matter. They all matter.
Well, it matters to a point. But what I'm saying is, overall, Metacritic is going to Metacritic, and I'm gonna have my thoughts and opinions, and it doesn't really
sucks anyway, because
whatever.
that whole scoring system is broken. It doesn't make sense when they take a 5-point scoring system and put it into a 100-point scoring system. It's broke. It doesn't work. It's not one to one. It doesn't work.
I agree with
hate
that.
Metacritic. I hate the 100-point scoring
So
system. Everything should be a 5-point scoring system. Everything.
Let me ask you guys.
Everything 100.
Let me ask you guys something, because it was asked in the chat. Nathan asked, "What did you guys feel about the black bar separating the screen the way they did with the?"
It looked good.
You know what?
the
I like that with
letterboxing?
the subtibers.
Yeah,
I like
never
that
even
actually.
noticed it.
I thought that was cool.
I mean, I know it's there, but I just never
Letterboxing is
noticed
just
it.
like, when you
Yeah,
watch a lot of
letterboxing is
movies
normal.
like that.
Thank
it
you.
doesn't-
I forgot the
it's
name of that.
normal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
it's
big
normal.
deal.
They
I
got
mean,
it.
you
Yeah,
watch
it didn't
a
actually
lot
bother
of
me that much.
a lot of movies you're watching now. I mean, even Shogun was shown like that.
I haven't
so-
watched that yet,
Yeah.
by the way.
And
But
it's
I actually
amazing.
prefer
It's
it,
amazing.
honestly,
I heard it was
because
really
get to
good.
see more,
It is
you get to
so
see
good.
more of that, the image. You get to see more.
I'd have an
on
issue with the
screen.
black bars.
You removed them, right,
talking
MJ?
about- I did.
Yeah.
Just to try it out. But I played the
you
game.
can?
Mind you, yep. There's a mod on the PC
Yeah.
that you
Oh,
can get
mod,
from Nexus
okay.
mod, and it removes
Okay.
chromatic aberration. and
I
It's
can't
filtering.
stand chromatic
I didn't know that.
aberration.
I
Okay.
wanted to remove chromatic
Does it work
aberration and
with
film
the
grain.
Game
I
Pass
can't
version?
stand either one of them.
Yeah, yep, either one of them. I tried it
Oh
on.
come on! I should have gotten that. I didn't even know there was a mod. I would have got it.
you
Yeah.
know,
Go back to it
playing,
again.
you know, I played.
You're right.
when,
Go
you know, I
back
was
to
talking
it.
in the chat. I played the Order of 1886, and it had the same bars, and it kind of
Yeah.
gave it this kind of like cinematic feel and flair. But yeah, I've tried it now without the bars, and I get a little bit more, and I'm like, all right, it's still good, but I get what they were going for with that kind of look and feel. But yeah, it's pretty easy to install that Nexus mod.
Okay.
I have a question for Fonz real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I actually, like you were saying earlier, Umbra, like I respect Fonz's opinion because it comes from like more of a genuine place than just straight bashing on a game and whatnot. So I like to actually hear Fonz's opinion.
I don't hate Xbox. Like
So,
I don't hate
yeah.
Xbox.
So my question
I
is
do.
this, and I hope I ask it right because I was thinking about this for the last 10 minutes. But for me, I can look at a game, try it, not like it, but still be able to look at it, its different parts, and then think like, okay, this is a good game. It's just really not for me, but it is a good game, and I know who it can be good for, who it's for. So for you, is this? I just want to ask, just for clarification. Is this game not good to you and that's why it receives a bad score, or is it actually overall just a bad game and that's why it's received a low score?
It's overall for me. It's
Okay.
a bad game. I'm not saying overall for you because
That's why
like,
you had
I
the
can't-
objective thing earlier. That's why
I
he was
can't-
not liking it.
I can't personally like put anything on anybody and say you have to like this because I do. Like, you know how
that's
much
not what I mean.
crap-
That's not.
I know, but like, there's been so many times I've mentioned games that I love, and where this community will literally shit on that game purposely, come at me about it, but it doesn't bother me because I'm like, I still love it. I don't care. Just like you guys still love Hellblade, no matter what I say. Like, it shouldn't bother you.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But
well, and the only reason I ask is because there's been people famously on YouTube that have, one of them goes by like one name, and the name is a bird. But anyway, he has this thing where if he doesn't like a game, he just thinks the game is overall shit. It's not that it's just shit to him. He just, no, this is like a bad game, like in general. And I've kind of never really understood that kind of opinion.
You know what? In that regard, like, I would say if you honestly talk like that about a game, then that game would have to be completely broken to say it's objectively horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless it's ET from the Atari 2600, then I'll say it's objectively bad.
Right.
Oh my god, that game was trash.
But hey, that game was broken because when you fell in that freaking hole, oh my god, yeah, it was broke. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for answering. I just wanted to.
But no, seriously, I'm not one of those people who would
Yes,
just
sir.
say, I hate this, I hate that, just to say it. I don't do it for clicks. I don't have a channel where I make these videos and reviews saying, oh, I give this a 4 out of 10. Like, that's not me. So if you hear me say, yeah, I honestly say this is a 4.5 out of 10 for me, it's just for me. Like, I found it really, really dull. That's all. Like, it just bored me. I literally, like, MJ fell asleep on the first one. I literally fell asleep on this one. I was telling Zocker and Colt yesterday that last night, the night before, I fell asleep. I was playing the game and I fell asleep. I was like, oh man, like doing a puzzle.
I have to tell you, I don't know. I have no earthly idea what this white bar in the middle of my screen is. I have.
Did you
window
install the Nexus mod on your podcast? Doesn't work on your podcast.
I wonder.
Like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of these black bars.
You know what it is? I think it's because our brother Black Viking joined. So it's like, oh,
That's right, baby. I slashed that shit in half.
yeah,
Oh, the rice. One of your other raccoons right there.
right, yeah. See, shout out to the Rog
man,
goons.
it's
The
Julio, right?
Rog family, baby.
That's
The
right.
Rog family.
Julio.
That's right. So Black Viking, you joined in, and we're close to ending. But I wanted to get your thoughts, brother. What was your overall view of the game as far as your score, and what didn't you like?
Yeah, so I would give it, like, personally, a 9 out of 10. I think there were some things that they could definitely improve on, hopefully, like in the next installment. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. It's not my favorite game. I'm trying to, like, I know I'm like super hyping it up on Twitter, like, because I do fucking love this game, right? It's my favorite experience I've had in a game.
Yes,
if
thank
that makes any sense.
But it's not Abby.
It's no, that's my baby. Leave her alone.
Yeah, that's the same kind of way Colt puts it. Like he loved the experience of the game. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and I knew that's how the game was going to be, right? Like, so my expectations, like, this is an art house studio, like they're going to push the art, right? So I want to see if they did what they set out to do, if they did it good, right? And I think they fucking nailed everything that they wanted to do with this game. So, like, my personal take on it is, like, I'm going to judge the game based off of what the studio wanted, right, versus kind of what I wanted. But I already had the expectation because I already played Hellblade 1, so I kind of knew this was going to be like this. But fuck, from the moment that it starts, and I've been telling people for the longest time, like, I can't wait for this fucking generation to start. Can I curse on here? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good, brother. We're past 10 minutes.
Okay.
The most
All right.
diabolical stuff.
Shit.
All right.
Shit.
Like, I've been wanting my I phrase it as the King Kong moment, because during the Xbox 360 era, there's a game called King Kong something Empire or whatever, to where, like, there was a cutscene, and then I'm just standing there in Walmart, like, playing the demo of this, and I thought it froze, and I was like, hold on, and then I moved the controller and it starts moving. I was like, holy shit, like, it actually, like, this is the game. And I felt like this the whole time I'm fucking playing. There's been so many times I set my controller down during the whole thing, and I'm like, why isn't she moving? And I was like, I was like, holy shit, man. Like, there's so many instances like that, bro, like, to where it's just so fucking good, man. Like, the mocap, Epic told me they did like 69 hours of mocap for just the fight animations, which is ridiculous. And you can see it.
You can
know what
see
I
it
mean?
for sure.
I have like 9 hours in the game, mostly due to how many times I've stopped to do photo mode.
Listen, I hear you 100%. I did the exact same thing. I had like 13 hours because I fell asleep from coming from work. I was tired. That didn't have anything to do with the game funds. I didn't fall asleep like you.
You fell asleep.
No.
You were playing that game. Yeah. No,
He was playing on the wrong outline, waiting for it to charge down.
Oh, stop
funny. As much as I didn't like the experience, I enjoyed the look of the game, and I kept pausing it, going into that photo mode and checking it out, just blown away by what they had created visually. I think this is finally a moment we see that Xbox, the Series X, actually freaking just dominates the console space with graphics.
Yep.
And it should have from the beginning, but.
Yeah, and nobody's brought up like
It took them like 4 years.
There's no, I didn't encounter a single bug. Like, I played on the series.
This is a bug-free game. No crashes, no bugs. Yeah,
polished in a motherfucker. Like, Matt Booty is safe for now.
He's safe for now, huh?
He's safe for now because, like, he let the studio do what they wanted to do with the game, right? They said the length is going to be the length, like, of pause, but there's no bugs. It's polished like a motherfucker. Like, I can't describe it any other way. Like, I'm about to do my second playthrough on the PC to get that experience, but I wanted to test it out on the Series X first to see, because the 30 frames on the Series X doesn't even feel like 30 frames at all. Like, it feels fucking good. It's not a twitchy game. Like,
really slow. I mean, so
but even like during the fight scenes, like, I can't tell at all. You know what I mean? It's.
So you played on the Series X, Viking. You didn't play on the PC, right?
I haven't played on PC yet.
Okay.
That's my second.
Like if you play Hellblade, you do a combat section at like say 100 frames or like 60 frames, and then like a second later you switch to 30. I think you're gonna feel it, but I mean, like, if you don't touch 60 at that point, you're probably not gonna notice the difference unless you're just changing between it on the spot.
Let's see how.
That's why the console first, so that way when I went to the PC, I was like, all right, let me go to the PC. And
it's really demanding, this game.
Yeah, no. I was still like amazingly surprised it was able to run this game the way it did. Like, I was expecting this thing to like absolutely destroy my PC. I was expecting it to blow up. Like, it wasn't even running hot.
Yeah.
I was amazed.
Yeah, I don't think my 3060 is going to survive. That's why I'm doing this via GeForce Now.
Some
the
people.
recommended settings is a 3080, but like apparently that's for 4K. So
Mhm.
if you run it like 1080 or 1440, you'll probably be.
Oh,
fine.
wait a minute. Do you
Yeah,
do you have
it's
an
not 2K.
do you have Nvidia? You have Nvidia for your graphics card?
So my PC is a 3060 for local, and then obviously I subscribe to GeForce Now Ultimate, so I use the 4080 through the cloud.
What about?
But
Nice.
my
But you have a
PC stays
3060. You
connected
said,
to
right?
Ethernet.
So if you have
My-
that, they said the DLS should probably help you a lot with the
Well,
settings.
yeah, it's just like and
DLSS
my
probably does, yeah.
monitor is a 1440p 165 hertz monitor anyway, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
better on that end. But on GeForce Now, despite what my local resolution is, I still like to push it
Yeah.
4K 120.
I
to
see what you're saying.
How it holds up through their service.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's the cloud and it's coming from their own like center and whatnot, but that's why I like to stay connected to Ethernet because I don't want to chance any connection. And just so we're clear, if you
Yeah.
use GeForce Now at home on your local machine or whatever, please stay connected to Ethernet. It will be such an amazing experience.
Yeah, I loved
I've heard.
GeForce Now when I had it. I was playing that before I got the PC. Thank you, Hargeet, by the way. I always think Hargeet.
Shout out to Santa Chani.
I remember
but
the original Hellblade on
But
VR.
GeForce Now is incredible.
It is.
Incredible.
It really, and the fact that every time there's a new generation of graphics cards and your GeForce Now Ultimate subscription automatically gets updated to new pods. That's my dog. Sorry, I don't know what she just did. Anyway,
It sounded like a duck. It was like,
Yeah, I was
What
wondering
if
if
the
that
dog got,
was like a
like, stepped
chair
on?
or something.
no, like,
The dog was playing Hellblade.
but it's just crazy because like next generation, like when we have the next generation of graphics cards and Xbox games and whatnot, stop it. Oh my gosh, stop.
your dog.
Sounds like
Your
you're
dog.
Anyway, let me get this out before she like hyperventilates.
It sounds like the
but-
dog is over there letting them some out
It-
over there.
Your dog wants to give their opinion on Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
They need to
She
speak.
loves
Right.
GeForce Now. She loves it.
She
No,
like,
but,
Senua'S.
but no, it's cool because it's 4080 right now. But once the 5080 drops, you automatically get upgraded to that. So it's just instantly insane, that you get that type of service for only $20. But beyond that, like I do want to test this game via local versus cloud because right now I don't have my Series S. I let my stepdaughter have that.
Oh, it's
but-
very fatherly of you.
Well, thank you. She there's games that she likes to play with her mom. So I was like, you know what? I have all of these devices. You keep this. I have the Ally, my iPad Pro I just got, my PC. It's ridiculous over here. But anyway, so I can't wait to see what it looks like on the 3060. Although I do expect my fans to blow to high heaven. During this.
You might
You'll be
you might
good.
die from like a fire.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
DLSS should help you a lot, I think, because it took me from when I tried it out. I was at like 40 something once I put it to native 4K, but then I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me test these frames, and I moved to 76. That took me to 60 frames per second. And I said, oh yeah, people were like, try DLSS. I did that. It took me to 120. So
DLSS will that'll boost.
It's not
stuff.
so.
I mean,
It's not so much my graphics card. It's my fans. Like
I
Yeah.
noticed,
yeah.
I noticed that on PC though, if you use DLSS and FrameGen, for some reason it looks I don't know, it could be placebo or something, but it almost looks like it softens the image just a bit.
It can in some games. It can in some games. Yeah.
It does.
It does. It does. I was trying
In
to
my
use
testing-
TSR.
Go ahead. Sorry.
what are you going to say, MJ Dirt?
A moment of
I
silence.
think he was talking about using TSR instead, and I did.
Yeah.
I ended up going to TSR because I thought
okay.
the image looked a little softer.
I've been
Yeah,
flipping
TSR
back and
looks
forth.
better.
I've been flipping back and forth between DLSS and TSR, and I think I landed on TSR.
I have to try it out.
Did they update their drivers?
Yeah, I did. I updated to the Hellblade 2 drivers, but
That's good to know.
FrameGen can be finicky with certain games.
Yeah,
So,
it
I
can
don't know,
be.
It could be the FrameGen thing. I didn't play with it much, but
I just
From-
don't
from-
think some games are built well for it.
From my experience, just using DLSS, it just played flawlessly. And I had
Oh, yeah.
like I said, a consistent
DLSS is
120 to maybe
amazing.
112
It's freaking-
frames.
it's
no, I
amazing.
know it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was tweaking my settings, I'm like, how can I get this to 120? And then I'm put all my settings on high, and I'm like, you know what? Is that 20 frames really worth it, or can I just stick with 100? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll just.
So
I can't.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I'm gonna put everybody's socials and everything like that inside the description later because we've
Got a
now
book to write.
yeah yeah we're about 2 hours
We got
35 minutes
content
in.
to make.
Hold on,
Indeed.
really really quick.
Keep going.
Hey, really quick. Are all y'all team green with NVIDIA?
Oh,
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm NVIDIA.
Yes.
I'm all
I was,
Switch.
gonna, I was gonna get AMD, but Starlight on Twitter told me to get Nvidia.
Wait, team what?
Of course.
Team Green, he says. Why you call it Team
Oh,
Green?
Team Green with Nvidia. Oh yeah,
Team
I'm
Switch.
fully
Team
on
Switch.
board.
Team Switch.
I'm fully on
Hell
board.
yeah.
Nvidia's
They all
gonna
need
win.
diversity.
Okay.
Mr.
It's
Jones.
Team
Podcast.
Red over here, gang.
For my
It's
podcast,
Team
I
Red
use
over
Nvidia.
here.
Oh, get out of here.
But
Get
no,
outta
the
here,
real
you.
easy combination is an Nvidia graphics card and an AMD
Drake,
CPU.
FSR,
That's the
get out of
combination.
here with that.
That's
true.
what I did.
That's at the
AMD
top.
GPU.
No,
the
it's all
AMD
Team
CPU
Red.
with
All
the
Team
NVIDIA.
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team
Yeah.
Red.
Everything.
CPU, GPU.
That's
Yeah,
CPU that
good
Hargeet's
luck
got
with
is
your
the best.
with your
Yeah.
Walmart RTX.
Y'all should be thinking. Y'all should be thanking me. Like y'all should be thanking me.
Not Walmart
Yo,
RTX.
Y'all don't want them 5090s
Bonds,
to
you
be
gotta start arguing with the guy in the
$3,000.
comments. It's super funny to read, but
Said Timu.
I had Hargeet. Shout out to you, Hargeet. He helped me out with getting this computer here. So he helped me configure like a full set build that had every good, like all the good stuff. I had Kay Asante help me first, and Lucius, and
Damn.
and then Hargeet came in and just upped it by like 10 points to the next level for it. So I got the
I just
highest.
wish you built it.
Yeah,
I ain't got
It was
time
an
for that.
experience to build it.
Boo.
Was terrible, man.
Listen, I upgraded.
It was.
I moved up. I've upgraded. That's all that matters.
What made you move to PC, Infinite?
Well, I'm still Xbox, but
No, I know.
Yeah.
But what made you go
Performance.
We bullied him after he showed us his rig.
He absolutely did bully me because I
The
showed them my
Pentiment moved to PlayStation. I was done.
I showed them my current PC that I use for podcasting funds, and they made so much fun of me in that chat. I was like,
$2,000. Umbra got bullied once and was like, "Here comes $3,000."
I mean, like, it's not the fact that I wanted to leave the console scene. For me, it's because I said it on my last show. I thought it over and everything. I'm still gonna buy consoles in the future just because I love the tech and the hobby so much. I just love having new tech.
Yeah.
Except for handhelds, I don't do those.
I'm with you on that. I think a lot of us like, I'm with you on that. I like the tech, right?
But here's the thing, though. Even though
for
I
me,
know that
never
my
going
PC
back.
is-
The second
I
the
know my
PS5 's
PC is going to be better than whatever console comes out, but I still want to have that console and mess with it and play with. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
see its
It's-
capabilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that side of tech.
And to-
so
And to be honest, when you're somebody who's used to being, sorry to cut you off, but somebody
No, go
when
ahead.
you're used to being a console gamer, even if you go to PC, there's just something about being on that home screen with your console and just
Mhm.
the,
I know,
access,
that's-
the way
that's
it's
one
set
thing I
up,
miss.
for console, like
Ease of
it's-
use. Yeah.
PC is obviously it's obviously better
Superior.
in so many ways,
Mhm.
right? PC
The
Master Race and all
Xbox
that.
UI
However,
is unbelievably
that
better than
Xbox
the
UI on the console is just
but
so
it's just
much
there's just nothing like that feeling of being on that console,
so much better.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
but
gonna get
no,
Black Series X.
the reason why I wanted to go to PC honestly was just because I wasn't happy with the frame rates.
Yeah, same for me. That's
some-
that's
Yeah,
ultimately
literally.
what did it because I wanted
Literally.
performance. So when I came to this and future games, I know that's going to hit heavy with Unreal. I'm like, I'm going to PC to play these types. And for other games, I'll just play on Xbox. But the ones I want high performance, I'm not settling for 30 if I have
but
this
I've still-
monster
I've still
4080.
gone back to my Xbox
like
and played
Starfield,
games,
major
even with my
game
PC.
changer at like 80 to 100 frames. Like
Yeah.
blew me away.
Yeah. So I mean, listen,
Compared to the
I don't
console.
say all that because some people like get a little sensitive when you start talking about the PC. Oh, you're leaving Xbox? No,
Yeah,
still
and the
Xbox.
whole PCMR thing, I never
You know what?
understood those
I'm
words.
still a
thought-
Game Pass subscriber.
I
I
don't
just
say
go with the
PCMR.
console.
Yeah. I call it, I'm PCMR funds, but I call it personal console. Personal console
I don't
master
do that.
race.
Matter of fact,
You know, I was
man,
confused what you were gonna say. Like,
Matter of fact, you know how you can name your PC, and my PC is named, what did I name it? The Xbox Play PC Station or something like that. Like it's just all the consoles and everything combined. I just put a name on it really quick because honestly, it's about gaming for me. I don't care about where the games are at necessarily. I just want to play
Yeah.
whatever I want to play. You know what I'm saying?
Bond
At the
says I got
best-
Gamecast.
Yeah, dude, I will play. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it never has, and that's why I've never been like a diehard Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo guy. Just I'll play wherever, and I've of course I've been on RDX Real Deal Xbox podcast, and people gave me shit about.
Shout out to
But at
Dealer,
the same
by the
time,
way. Yeah,
the reason why Dealer brought me there is because originally I was more PlayStation than Xbox.
I remember.
And
Yeah,
he liked that yin and yang.
and that's why I was happy you joined us tonight, because I wanted dissenting opinion. I didn't want everybody to be like, yes, 9999. You know, I don't know. I didn't mean to sound like Hitler just now, but you get what I'm saying.
But at the same time, I've never shit on Xbox or PlayStation as a company necessarily. Like, yes, I pick them apart where they need to be picked apart. But I don't just crap on the companies because, I hate them. I hate blue. I hate green.
Right.
It's just stupid to me. But
so
at the end of the day, it's all games, man.
It is all about the games. And I want to thank you guys for being here for the game. So I want one question that was asked from my mod, Gray Monad, my brother. He asked, when do you all think we will see a third game? 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years? You don't think so?
Hopefully never, but
next gen.
No.
Never?
No.
Damn, us.
Ninja Theory is getting shut down.
Wow.
That's what's happening.
No,
the
they're
game's
not.
not
No,
going to
they're
perform.
No,
No,
they're
I'm
not.
straight up.
They've
The
already
game's
been
not- the game's
greenlit
gonna
on their next
underperform.
game.
They have.
Yeah, they have.
Which
Okay,
is
they have
not
top
this.
Microsoft. You know what? It's not worth the investment.
But what about specifically for Hellblade? Do you all when do you all think we'll get the next one?
Like, I'm just like from the
If they don't
thing
get
we got,
canceled,
is the next
2029.
game? Is the next game supposed to be something new?
I hope so.
I
but
think
don't
so.
know. I haven't confirmed.
So we
Here's
don't
the thing.
have confirmation one way or
We
the
don't
other.
have
We don't.
confirmation. I've
Yeah.
heard rumors.
Okay.
Here's a rumor that I heard recently, and he probably or she or he might get mad for me saying this, but I heard that it's probably Hellblade 3, and
Jez
that
came out and
Hellblade
said
was
it was
supposed to
Hellblade 3.
is supposed to be sort of a staple of Game Pass, and you'll get games every few years of.
I do.
Yeah, so I think
another
it-
game in development.
Jez Corden
I
came out on
don't- I
Twitter a
hope
few
that
days ago.
doesn't
Said
happen.
Hellblade 3 was greenlit. Yeah.
Well, he didn't say specifically Hellblade. He just said that they've been greenlit for the next game.
But
Didn't he say Hellblade?
No.
I thought he did.
No,
Next game. There's another game that they have in development that's kind of like secret
Project
right
Mara?
now.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought he
yeah. And
Hellblade.
but
that might be
Hellblade
the
3
next
has
one.
been greenlit. Yes.
Okay.
He
yeah,
said,
that's what
he
it is.
says that. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take
he
it
did
back,
say it
my
was
bad.
greenlit. It just might not be their next game after Project Mara.
Yeah, no,
Well,
there's
Project
another
Mara
game.
to go.
There's another
Right.
game that's supposed to come out.
All right, they're
That's
making
pretty
Hi-Fi
interesting.
Rush 2 right now. 100%.
Hopefully it's more action oriented.
Jesus.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think this one it's supposed
Split
to
the
be.
throat handed over.
From what I saw, this next game of theirs is supposed to be on the level technically of Hellblade, but it's supposed to be completely different gameplay wise. From what I understood, I can't remember.
Project
I don't
Mara
think
is gonna be
don't
like
call
a
it at all.
Kojima
I think
game,
it's
like the
supposed
one
to be more
Kojima's trying to
suspense
make.
horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, suspense horror. You're right.
So
If
Yes,
it's in
I
the
don't know
same
if it's gonna be a
development
ground.
style as the first Hellblade, we're probably looking like what 2029, 2028 at least.
Next gen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mid,
next gen.
mid
Some-
to next, yeah, mid to
Next
late
gen.
next gen.
It'll be the
Xbox
second
has a
installment
new
of the handheld.
So
Yeah.
there was some misconception of this one, because I think a lot of people thought this took 5 years to make this, but it was really like 3
It did
years,
not.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
you had
It's
2
just that
years
they
of
had to like
COVID.
port it to UE5. That's what it was. They wanted to like bring it
Mhm.
to the max they could.
With
yeah.
the metahuman and all of that.
And they
yeah.
were like, they built a new studio, right? Like a few years back, they had
They
like
did.
a whole
Yeah,
studio
yeah,
for
yeah.
building a new mocap
could-
studio.
Well,
They could flip one out in 3 to 4 years if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, the
I think
crazy
theories are
part-
great.
I think
The
you
crazy
might.
part, if y'all remember from the first game when they put out that video of her wearing the tech that they used to do the capture that they're doing, and then you see what they're using now for the second game, they
Yeah.
really upgraded their tech. Like
The
holy.
balls.
Microsoft
Before it
dropped
was
some
like a
cash.
bike helmet with a phone, and now it's like a whole on like structure built onto them, and it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
what
They got,
they've
like,
been
some
able to do
mech
in these
suit
last
going
couple of
on.
years.
So listen, fellas, we're at that time, and we've been here for long enough to bore these folks with our Hellblade talk, I'm sure.
PC talk.
So
Yeah, we
I,
wouldn't want the
Just
podcast to be a
PCMR.
4.5.
So
Actually-
right now it's bordering on a 5.
I was waiting for somebody to chime in with the score of Fonz. I was waiting for it.
Fonz will get up to 7 by the end of the week.
Right.
I was going to say that
Anyway.
earlier. I feel like Fonz's score went from a 4.5 to a 6 when the last time he was talking about this game, I was like, ooh, this is a little bit more positive right now. Okay.
So I
just
was,
had to give you the positives. That's all.
yeah, it is what it is. But I was going to give a shout out to Ham and let him sign out, but he had to go. So shout out to Ham. Shout out to Colt. Shout out to Mr. Joanna Dark. He left as well. And shout out to you guys for joining us. I'll start from the top of the screen on down to exit everybody out. Black Viking, brother, thanks for joining in. Tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to talk a little shit.
Anytime.
And really talk about Hellblade, man. I fucking I'm not gonna lie, bro. I love this game.
Yeah.
If you want to call it a game, I don't know. I love this experience.
Yeah. There you go.
Experience is magical.
No, but you guys can find me at the Longhouse Gaming Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. Actually, we got done, and then I was like, "Yo, Infinite, hit me with the link so I can join, man." So we do that Tuesdays, Thursdays,
No doubt.
at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, I'm really glad I was able to come on, man, because it's gonna be hard as fuck for me to come on because we run this at the same time. But yeah, it's mad cool, man. I appreciate it.
No doubt, brother. Did anybody else leave yet? Let me see. Okay, not yet. Okay, so working our way down. Funds, my good brother. Thank you for jumping in as well. Tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
You can hate on me over at Fonz Gaming and also at This Mysterious World. It's another YouTube channel I have. If you type in Jay Fonzarelli, This Mysterious World, it'll pop up. Just because it's such a new channel, when you type in This Mysterious World, it doesn't show up. And that talks about the weird, the unexplained, the mysterious, all that crap. UFOs, Bigfoot, that sort of stuff. So if you're into that, come check it out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, I have got a show that I had to delay from last night. I had emergency, so I couldn't do it. But tomorrow, I rescheduled him. I'm going to talk to an ex-military official. We're going to talk about UFOs tomorrow.
Nice.
And some encounters that he's had. So
Close encounters, perhaps.
not close, but
Anal
encounters nonetheless.
All right.
And very intriguing stuff, compelling.
I checked in. I tuned into the. I went to watch the first episode of your new channel with that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to get some
And
more
then,
of that.
Of course, Sundays, Games Talk Live with Hargeet, Johnny Eden.
That's
the-
right.
The guy who does 20 podcasts a week. I've got him too. I love Hargeet. And that's what, here's what makes Games Talk Live so good, right? The fact that, and people get pissed all the time at me or Hargeet's opinion. Like they get, like it's divided sometimes with the community, right? But that's what I love about the show, is because me and Hargeet don't always agree, and we don't have to. At the end of the day, we can have our freaking debates on games and then walk away happy.
There you
and
go.
friends. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing. I remember I saw that discussion you guys had last week. I think it was you. It was you two and Samurai
And-
Kibiji.
Yeah.
That was good, man. I love seeing debate like
who,
that.
Who likes a
Right?
podcast
Yeah.
that's all like, oh man, it's amazing. And then everybody's like, yeah, it's amazing. 10 out of 10.
It's an echo
And then-
chamber at that point.
Right.
And then it's like you guys just go round robin talking about how great something is and yeah, to a point it's really good, and then it gets to that point where it's like, okay, this is overkill. Where's the dissenting opinions? Where's
It
somebody
becomes
saying
too kumbaya, you're saying, basically.
Yeah, you need that to break that up a bit.
I
And,
hear you.
It doesn't have to be forced either. You just need to find the right co-host out there. To
You
get,
do. Yeah.
a good opinion, a real opinion.
Yeah,
Like that's what
I
I,
agree
love
with
about
that.
Hargeet's opinions. He's logical,
Mhm.
and I'm going to sit here and gush about Hargeet, but this is the reason why I asked him to be. And this is why a lot of people ask him to be on the show, right?
Yeah.
Because he might have opinions that you may not agree with, but they're logical. They make sense when he explains it, and I freaking love him. Hargeet's awesome.
Absolutely, 100%. And speaking of the man of the hour, Hargeet, thanks for jumping in, brother. Appreciate ya.
Yeah.
Now, outside of telling the good folks where they can find you, I want to hear you give the inner world shout out to your book, The Proper Way to Exit Out, and tell the good
Yes,
folks where they
do
can
it.
find it.
All right, I'll just read the caption. 65 million years ago, a meteor crashed into Earth, causing a mass extinction event that wiped out the dominant dinosaur species. But what if that didn't happen? Tune in to This Strange World. Oh,
Exactly.
Oh,
This
perfect.
Mysterious World, right? This
There's the
Mysterious
music
music
for
in
it.
the background?
Yeah.
He like, what is that?
No, but anyways,
Perfect.
shop.chani.us if you want to take a look at the book. And then I am on YouTube. I'm starting to put videos on there as well. Hargeet Chani 1 is my channel. Subscribe there if you want to. I'll be on Night Shift, which is Doodle and C Money's podcast on Fridays. So I'll be there tomorrow, 6 p.m. US Eastern. And then, as Fawn said, we'll be on GameStop Live on Sunday, 6 p.m. US Eastern. And then, yeah, we'll see what madness comes next week.
Very nice. I'll make sure to include your link for the book and as well as your channel too, because I did watch that last one you put up for Game Pass and stuff like that, or not. Yeah, thanks again, brother, for joining us. And moving down the list, to our one of our main guests, Inked El Chapo. Brother, thank you for joining us and for giving your takes and thoughts. And tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Yeah, just want to start with thank you, brother, for having us on, both me and Tarzan. I'm Inked El Chapo on pretty much all the socials, mainly on Twitter, because that's where all the gaming stuff happens. PNX, we're on every Sunday, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I hate to break it down to you, but I don't know what that is where you are, but it's usually Saturday nights for people in America.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere around there.
For me, it was Saturday at 6. So it would be for Eastern, it'd be Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty new at this, so you have to bear with us with the technical difficulties that we have and just learning the ropes of content creation. We're gonna start to expand our scope and do more like live stuff and playing games live, because both me and Tarzan have a background in Twitch streaming. And just want to say thank you again. Thank you to the rest of the gentlemen that were on the show for hearing our opinions out and stuff. And yeah, can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you. And definitely check them out. Their links are already in the description, but I'll make sure to include all guests that jumped in for sure later. So thank you, brother. MJ, going down the list. MJ, my brother, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
Well, right now, I usually stream nightly. I attempt to, at least. I just stream video games, whatever. I mean, I streamed Hellblade 2 a few nights back, where you can actually find clips of me yawning during the game. It's not my proudest moment, but I was bored at certain points. If you look up MJ Plays, you can most likely find my channel. I actually looked it up a few days ago on a new account, and I did see my channel at the top. Beforehand, all I would find is Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson. So you know what? I'm pretty happy to actually be moving up the search ladder. Or if you put in like MJ Plays Fallout or MJ Plays Starfield, you will most likely find several of my videos on those games, and you'll find my channel pretty easily. I'm also on Twitter, or my @ is MJ Hernandez or MJ Plays again. I'll probably be switching it within the next few months.
All right.
But those are the places you can find me at. I try to stream again every night or every 2 nights. Uploading shorts for news content. Videos are kind of light right now. I'm still trying to like experiment on what I'm going to be doing. I have a secret second channel, actually. I'm not telling anybody about. I want to see how that runs before
secret
I do anything with it. I haven't been sharing it out. My first video already got like 40 views, which I was pretty impressed by. So I was happy about that. But yeah, no, that's where you guys can find me. You can just look up MJ Plays Starfield Fallout, and I'm on Twitter as well.
Very nice.
My good friend Umbra here will just drop it in the description.
I will. I'll include it all. I'll make sure to hit you all up for more links if you need be. And thank you again, brother. What was I going to say? Oh, to TM Gaming, he put I believe a $2 donation toward us, rather. So thank you, brother, for that. I know you just said you were checking in and more or less that you were coming by to
yeah, Umbra, I think your
respects.
mic is off.
Yeah, Umbra, yeah, you're muted. I really can't hear you.
Oh crap!
What happened? I'm thinking like, did my Discord freeze?
Oh, that was my fault.
I got disconnected.
Sorry about that. I did. Thank you. Oops. TM Gaming gave a $2 donation.
Oh yeah, no. TM's always in my chats, man. He's a good guy.
Thank you, TM. I appreciate it.
I almost started checking settings and everything. Oh my God.
So for MJ, thank you again, MJ, and I'll make sure to include all the links, of course, later for everything. I'll hit you up if I need to get more links. And to our secondary main guest, Tarzan, brother of the PNX podcast. Tell the good folks where they can find you at and what you'll be up to.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't make it any better when we all stayed quiet. But anyways, Sorry guys, I didn't talk as much. I'm working at the same time, so it's pretty hard to juggle doing calls with customers and also trying to do this at the
Ah,
same
no,
time.
you're
So,
good, brother. You're good.
but yeah, no, honestly, it was honestly good to know, like good, like it felt really great that you asked us to jump onto the show and stuff. You can find so PNX Podcast, just as Ink said, you can find me on Twitter by the name Tarzan RNR. But yeah, mainly on Twitter. I used to do Twitch streaming before by the name of you're gonna laugh, Tarzan's Brown Banana.
Oh, oh, why? Why did you do that? Tarzan's
my
brown
missus gave
banana.
me that. Yeah, she gave me the idea of making that name up, and it stuck by me. And unfortunately, it's living on forever.
Wait. Why did she? You know what? I don't even want to ask because it'll take us down a rabbit hole. I feel.
But anyways, just before I was well, while doing my job and stuff, I was meant to mention this earlier. So for the viewers in the chat, there is a. I was meant to mention it earlier. Sorry about that, guys. There is a little not an Easter egg, but a little detail that a lot of people didn't notice about Hellblade 2. And that's where you get after chapter 2. So if you guys haven't played it, I'm not gonna exactly mention what the dialogues were, but if you point the camera towards Senua, you know how she constantly looks away when you try to look at her.
Yeah.
So if you move the camera multiple times to try and get her to face you, she eventually looks at the camera and follows your every move afterwards, and then she'll stop midway. So she'll do that for like 5 seconds, and then she'll stop. So if you played the second chapter of Hellblade 2, you'll notice why, or you'll know exactly why that's the case there. Because, well, basically what I can interpret is she can actually see us while we play the game.
She's breaking the fourth wall.
I always thought like the camera stuff, because every third-person game I play, they always look away, so I always thought it was just that. But that's a pretty cool secret you can find.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't think of it that way.
If I could find a video, if I could record a video of it, I'll put it up on Twitter and you guys can see.
She's like a seer, so she's kind of that makes sense if she's kind of like not experiencing, but like seeing us at least, or at least what's the word I want to use here? She's what's a word for that? She can kind of feel that we're there, our presence. That's kind of dope. Yeah. Okay, so and finally, and thank you again, brother. You all can feel free to drop out as you need to. I know you're at work, Tarzan, so if you gotta go ahead, brother. Thank you again. I'll make your stuff is in the description, so you're good to go too.
Thanks, boys. And eventually,
you.
I would like for you guys to come back on our show and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. So when it gets a chance.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, brothers. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, brother. You have a good one. And finally, and last but not least, Dusty, the Dusty Uno. Tell the good folks where they can find you. First off, thank you for jumping in, brother. And I can't wait to hear your experience once you get into the game and play through it. But when can the good folks find you, and what will you be up to?
So everyone can find me on X and Instagram and YouTube. At X, it's at the Dusty Uno, or GWave TV _. Either one is fine. You can find me on Instagram at the Dusty Uno and at my name is Neo __. And then YouTube is obviously the same, at the Dusty Uno, or just the Dusty Uno, but YouTube wanted to add that at, so here we are. But yeah, that's where you guys can find me. To you, Umbra, I'm down anytime to be a part of your show. You know that. You know I always got love for you, and I respect you heavily and whatnot.
I appreciate it, brother.
Feeling
is mutual.
I'd be bothering you in the DMs with senseless purchases, but it is what it is. I needed to upgrade. It is what it is. But no, I'm down anytime. Just let me know. I got to get you on my show. I know my times suck sometimes, but
yeah. We'll figure it out. Maybe when I'm on vacation or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I
could just get my ass up on a Saturday and do it then. But
yeah, pre-recording maybe perhaps if need be.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, like, I really love what you're doing with your show. I really appreciate what you do for the community and the close circle of people that you keep around you and whatnot. You know, sometimes these sort of things are said to other podcasters on their show, so I feel like it's deserving to be said on your show. You and
Thank you, brother.
Daniel are great hosts. You know, from what I've learned so far, you guys are great humans, and I just hope more people get to witness what you're building here and eventually get to play some games with you. You know, so much love to you, brother. Much love to Daniel, and yeah, anytime you need me back, I'm here.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Beautiful words to sign off to. Absolutely, I'm honored. It's good to hear. It's always good for me, especially for the ego, to hear good stuff like that.
I learned a long time ago that proper edification is needed.
Yes.
And when it's warranted, it should be given.
Hey, I like that.
My edification is not empty at all whatsoever. If I hype you up, it's never gas. It's all love. It's all true, or else I don't say it at all.
There you go. Affirmation is a good thing, and hearing that coming from a genuine place is even better. So I appreciate that 100%. Thank you, brother. As for me, and shout out to Danny, and I'm hoping he's enjoying his boppity boopity out in Italy right now with the family. Shout out to my brother. But for me, you guys, of course, can find me on Twitter, X Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Tuesdays with Boom's Xbox Factor podcast at 12 o'clock Eastern. Thursdays again back here at 8 o'clock Eastern. Fridays tomorrow with Risky for the Biscuit as host, myself, that blue number, and Dante Moody, aka Spriggan, and Garuda Intruder at times when he can be free. I don't know if Holiday will be there tomorrow, but yeah, so come by tomorrow as well for the Infinite Podcast. We'll continue this discussion. And if you guys have not gotten to it yet, give Hellblade 2 a chance. Don't listen to us. Give it your own view and play it at your own pace and enjoy or not enjoy it. Either way, go get some gaming on. Thank you all in the chat for being here with us. If you have not done so, hit the like button on your way out. We'll talk with you guys later. You all have a great one.